Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are here, Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack, for our Thursday night couples session. Super excited to be with all you guys. It has been a long week. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. Past Christmas, past New Year's, and now finally on the other side. So super excited to see everybody tonight. We had a fantastic Three Amigos today with Dion and with Mike. And so that was a blast, lots of fun. And I've got sessions tomorrow with Mike too to talk about some other stuff. I know that there were a couple of things we're going to address tonight. One of them specifically was something that was posted in the Three Amigos of Financial Independence, Three Amigos of FI. And so we will be covering those items tonight and really just kind of talking through syndications. There was somebody that was 29 years old, had put something on there about how great life is and how she was a landlord. And basically she was renting by the room, which is completely illegal in a lot of places, unless you have a special license. I know in New Hampshire that they shut places down because there's a lot of issues with renting by the room because it's not a hotel. And so safety and things like that. So anyway, it was a very interesting article. But I'll wait until some other folks join because I know that there was a lot of conversation about that post regarding syndications and why not syndications. And they belong to 7 syndications. And my rude comment was they'll be working their W-2s again within 5 years. Because they will be. And I'll give you all the reasons why I know that will be the case. So anyway, that being said, how's it going, Mrs. Lumberjack?
It's good. It's been a long week, but a really good week. It's been a really good week for us, but also extremely busy. I'm both exhausted and elated.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Personally, we've gone through a lot.
It's been a long week. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. So we'll jump in. We'll say hi to some folks. Matt Herbert, hey, good evening to you. And I'm sure your better half is there with you as well, watching. Super fun to have you guys. Dion, Amy, hey, good to have you guys. Good to have you, Dion, and your wife too, I know. Excuse me. Just Williams, what are yours and Ashley's New Year's resolutions, or do you do New Year's resolutions? I'll let Ashley answer first.
We don't do formal New Year's resolutions. We have, I don't know, we set goals, I think, for as ourselves or for our properties or family, but we kind of just do that throughout the year. Nothing that we set up for the new year. I guess I would say that this is maybe the first year in a long time that I kind of set something in my mind where I have so many books that I want to read this year. And I probably want to read more than I want to watch shows. But it's nothing really formal. It's going to last a whole 3 weeks. And then I'm going to be done.
Yeah. So one of the things you guys will see on the episode today with Dion and with Mike is that when the way that we set goals for the portfolio or for our business is much more staying focused on the blocking and tackling and the tactical, which is to say, we just want to do great deals.
Yep.
We want to treat our tenants and people right. We want to make sure that we're specifically, setting aside time for family.
Yep.
But there's no specific growth numbers. So there's not like we want to do 10 more buildings this year. That's not how it works. We want to do 50 units. That's not how it works. We care far more about the quality of the deal than we do about the quantity of them. So where Mike wrote, 250 offers in 2020, I think it was, and got 0. We hope that we never see that number, but if it happens, it's because we were willing to pay what the numbers said we should pay. So my only cautionary tale for folks is the worst deals I did were when I was focused on the number of deals I was doing as opposed to the quality of deals I was doing. So this is one where quality is far stronger than quantity. Just keep on doing great deals. That's it. And building your network. The best way to hit any goal for a quantity is to have a fantastic network where you're constantly building your network, constantly having conversations. I got an off-market deal presented to me Tuesday. It was presented to me, and we had it under contract later that night.
Yep.
It was a no-brainer for us. It was just a no-brainer. So it was really good. So Larry Chong, hi and hello, you two. Hello, Larry. Which books do you want to read, Ashley?
So
I don't know this list, by the way.
no. So there's a bunch of books that I have actually just on parenting that I want to get through. It's a bunch of books by this author named Meg Meeker, who is like a pediatrician and kind of psychologist as well. Especially around like boys and raising boys, because I've got an awesome boy and I want to keep it that way because I'm a girl and I want to understand him better. So those are ones that I want to do. But I also have Mark Kohler's What Your Secrets Your CPA Isn't Telling You. That is also very high on the list. So that will be read this year as well.
I know which one I'm rooting for.
I know. Well, that's the next book. I already am in one. That's the next one.
So Mark Kohler, for those of you guys who don't know, Mark Kohler is an absolutely phenomenal accounting resource. He is one of the I think he's probably one of the foremost experts at how to set up a business hierarchy and taxing a hierarchy. He's just fun. He's spectacular. He's one of the very few accountants that I can listen to for a couple of hours. Again, I don't read books, but I watch a lot. I read a lot of periodical or articles and those sorts of things. Don't read books though.
That's why we make a great team. I'll do the book reading.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. So that's what books she wants to read. Chester Williams. I like smaller goals throughout the year instead of one big goal. Yep, for the year helps keep focus. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think again, we find that a lot of landlords and small business owners, they lose when they take their eye off the ball and they start thinking all these big grandiose plans, blocking and tackling every single day. It's that constant consistency. You guys have heard me say that before, where it's constantly but consistent about what you're doing. And that is always learning, so I always want to be learning more. So I watch Mike, I watch Dion, I watch Mark Kohler, I watch Grant Cardone. I don't watch Meet Kevin as much anymore because he doesn't talk nearly as much about real estate as he did. Graham Stephan, not really anymore. Ryan Pineda, I watched a little bit of his stuff. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, we kind of stay focused on really just kind of the simple blocking and tackling, meeting new people, forming new relationships, creating new relationships with our tenants, that sort of stuff. So yeah. Yep. That's good. John Doe, hope you're doing okay on this somber day, Matt. I know you probably have your flag at half staff. Yeah, so I don't have a flag at my house, but if I did, I would. So, and that's all I'll say about that. Julie Anderson, has your market loosened up? No. I looked this morning with my daily homework and we have, I think, one duplex in all three of my market, or one multi 2, 3, or 4 unit in all three of my markets combined. That's why I'm a little bit shocked that somebody brought me a 3-deal package of multis. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think that this person could absolutely crush it if they brought them to market. I was shocked at what I got my deal for. Honestly, completely shocked. Yeah. So yeah, great. Thank you, Jay, if you're watching. Appreciate it.
Love you, Jay.
Yeah. So Jay did a great job. Brought me the deal. We talked the numbers, and within, I don't know, 90 minutes, we had an offer on the table. So yeah. If you're just joining the show, this is Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack. We talk about real estate. We are investors in a little over 100 real estate units. These have not all been acquired in the last 3 years and have somebody else's name on them. They are all ours, and they have been acquired over a 20-year span. We've been together for 16, but I've been buying real estate since about 20 years ago. So yeah, so it's super excited to have you guys here today and see a lot of names that we're familiar with. But if you're new and you're just coming to hang out and ask some questions, please feel free to do so. We think that this is a great date night activity because there's a lot.
This is our date night.
There's a lot worse you could be doing with your time. So yeah, so Julie, to answer your question, no, the market hasn't loosened up. It's still extremely tight. Anything that comes on market sells very fast, even the overpriced stuff. So yeah, it's not loose at all. There is literally, when I tell you there's zero inventory, there is literally zero inventory. I've seen houses that I said no to 3 years ago, single families that didn't make sense $100,000 ago. And now they make even less sense because the taxes have gone up so much. So yeah, it's definitely crazy market for sure. Yep, definitely crazy market. Larry Chong, your best asset is that big boy next to you. Yeah, serving as a role model for little boys. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, we are extreme. We're not helicopter parents because we want them to learn and be able to make mistakes. But we give them a lot of experiences and let them kind of think through things. And so, yeah, we're big on that. The kids are all the time. The kids are on job sites, doing errands with us, doing errands with Ashley, picking up rents, dropping off checks to contractors, going and walking a job after they finished, all that stuff. Yep. All that stuff. Yep. Sure. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, appreciate that, Larry. Julie Anderson, boy advice, keep him busy. Yeah, no kidding. Trust me.
Learn that.
Yeah, he turned 4 and it was like a different gear. So we're working on that. A little tough with quarantine. And it being like 17 degrees outside. But tomorrow, with there being snow, he will be in a snowsuit and he will be having some quality time outside for sure. Matt Herbert, regarding goal setting, my wife and I have had luck with someday goals, 5-year goals, 1-year goals, where 1-year goals have concrete actions and should provide support for upstream goals. Yeah, makes sense. Yep. Yeah, we just try and boil it down very, very easy, very small, very simple, which is kind of just the core tenets of life for us. Making sure that we're making time for the kids, making sure that we're involving them in the business and in process and understanding and learning lessons, seeing how we treat our contractors, seeing how we get treated, how we build our network, all of that stuff. Our kids are very lucky where they have a lot of aunties and uncles that are people that we've done business with that have become that close because we've done that much business with them. So yeah, so I like that, Matt. I like that. It's good. Invest to wealth. Oh, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack. Invest to wealth. Lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com. I still need your address if you want those books. Chester Williams, Mark Kohler. Yep, sounds like a great resource. Yeah, that is his name. That is correct spelling. Yep. And he is spectacular. He does a live stream. I think he does a live stream like once a week. But he is spectacular. He rolled I think we were watching one of my episodes on TV because the kids get a kick out of seeing dad on TV. So we were watching one of my episodes and then it rolled into Mark Kohler and I was honored to be his opener because that dude is awesome. He is awesome. In fact, I think we had like one Saturday.
We just watched it.
We probably watched like 4 hours of Mark Kohler.
It's interesting for me and it's not necessarily my love.
Mhm.
And it was very fun and
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Mark Kohler, that is the correct spelling. He's spectacular. What I've really learned in the last couple of years is CPAs are great. Attorneys can be great. But tax attorneys, that's where it's at. The tax attorneys that are tax attorneys and attorneys and CPAs, that's what Kohler is, and that's why I think I found him so interesting. So yeah, really enjoyed that a lot. Rankin Projects at Chester. He gives so much information. I wish he was my accountant tax professional. Yeah, so awesome to watch. So what's really interesting, Rankin Projects, is that he actually has a large firm, and he's still taking on customers. He's actually still taking on customers. For us, we just got so much going on. It just doesn't make sense for us. It just didn't feel right. So yeah, yep. For us, it just didn't feel right. So we wanted to go local. So we've got some people that we're interviewing, and we're phasing out of an accountant that we've been with for 26 years. So we're kind of phasing out of that. T Stamps. Hey, I think that's Troy Stamps. So we met in the Facebook group. Super excited that you came tonight. I promise we're gonna now that you're here, I know that you're here. I know that you had some questions regarding the syndication stuff, and so I wanted to cover that for people, because I think people think that that's easy money, and it just isn't. And it's very scary money. Right now it's nice, but it's not going to be nice for very long. And so I'll kind of break down syndication, generally speaking, and what I don't like about it. Because I obviously had the chance. I'm actually an accredited investor, so I can invest in any of those syndications I want. And I, just not a fan, just really not a fan. So let me read your question is, I want to get into real estate as a FTHB, first time home buyer. Yep. But how do I not get discouraged making average pay and living in California? Yep. Where do I even begin? So, so Michael's book, if you don't have Michael's book, One Rental at a Time, I would absolutely read that book, first of all. The second thing that I would be doing is you actually posted a picture of a house, and you were looking for a budget. I think it was under a couple $100,000. And so house hacking is one of the things that I would recommend to you. If you look on my channel, there's a video called 4321. That is absolutely, that is absolutely the best way to start out in real estate investment. It's how I did it. And it afforded me, when I was 22, I think 21 or 22 when I bought my first house. So I would encourage you, watch the 4321 video. Certainly ask questions anytime. I look at my questions. I don't get to them as often as I do the live streams, but I try. So don't be discouraged, because think of it this way. You only need one of those deals to work out, just one. You don't need 10, you don't need 20, you need literally just one. So when you read Mike's book, One Rental at a Time, I would give you the same advice, which is understand what you're looking for, understand what you're trying to buy, and then start to understand what's it going to take to get there. One of the things that I always talk about with house hacking, what was really awesome is I didn't have enough income to qualify for the first for the first place I bought, which was a condo. So what I was able to do was I was able to get a roommate. It was a 2-bedroom. I was able to get a roommate, get them under lease, and showing that they would pay $1,000 a month towards my mortgage. Well, my mortgage was only $2,300, or maybe it was $1,100 he was paying. So long story short is I was paying $1,200-1,300 a month. He was paying $1,000 a month. All of a sudden, I was able to buy this $300,000 plus condo at the age of 21, 22 years old, because I was able to house hack. I had a decent job, but I was able to qualify because they would use 85% of his rent towards my mortgage. So the first thing that I would look doing, I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you have kids, but Dion's got a fantastic story about house hacking. He house hacked with 3 kids. But I would absolutely be looking at house hacking. 1000%. I would be looking at house hacking just for the first couple of years. That's all you really need it for. But if you look at house hacking just for the first couple of years, usually you can then start to figure out other creative ways to do some pretty amazing stuff. I house hacked house number 1, house number 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I house 9. I did 9. So, yep. So for sure. So don't get discouraged. Keep doing the work. Read Michael's One Rental at a Time book. It's you can also listen to it on Audible. But the book is great because you can take notes in it. And then you can show up for live streams and ask questions. So you'll get there. I know you will. But yeah, be patient. You only need one deal. You don't need 100. You just need one. So what you need to do is make sure you understand that you're doing your homework every single day, that you know exactly what you're looking for, and that you really understand what that market costs and what things really cost in that market, making sure that you're going through the steps of pre-approval. And again, house hacking, largely speaking, is going to be a huge, huge, huge asset to you. I see you right down here. Thank you. I'll get the book and follow what you said. Trust me on this. It is far less scary to do this than it is to start investing in syndications. So real quickly, because I promised you I would answer syndications. The problem with syndications is when they are set up, if you are not the syndicator, you look at a Grant Cardone syndication as an example. So he buys it with his money, then basically sells it to the syndication. And when anything happens with that property, he actually gets massive payouts, which is fine. He's a syndicator. Totally cool. I don't begrudge him that. He set up the business model and he's completely transparent as to what the business model is. But let me walk you through a couple scenarios of why I hate syndications. Number one, that is commercial debt. So commercial debt resets every 5, every 7, every 10 years. That is not 30-year fixed rate debt. So right now you might be getting paid out at 7%, or 6%, but you're getting paid out at 6% based on the lowest multifamily debt price or cost of debt in history of mankind. What will happen is in the next 5 years, if you believe interest rates are going to increase, what will happen in the next 5 years is that debt will no longer be locked in at 4% on 200 million. It will be 7% on 200 million. So guess what happens? He might need to come back to you guys, the syndicator, and say, hey, so we're in the position now where our rates have changed. There's that much less in the pie to go around. And so based on what the current rates are and what the payments are, the new number for everybody is actually going to be 2.2%. Greg Cardone is probably one of the best syndicators out there. And he has deals that literally pay in the 1s, 2s, and 3s. That's garbage. If the building ever gets hit with a special assessment, it's not the syndicator's responsibility. He goes back to you guys and says, hey, so we just got hit with a $50 million special assessment. We're going to need to fund up for that. So I'm going to need you guys to write a percentage of, I need you guys to write a check. So these are all things that can happen in the syndication that can really, really stick you. And so then you can watch a 5 or 6% return that might've been 5 or 6%, and you're quote unquote doing nothing except for getting the check in the mail. And eventually that comes home to roost. I believe rates are going to be markedly higher than where they are right now. I believe rates are going to be markedly higher in the next year to 2 years. And then I think they're going to be up significantly for a while. That is going to leave anybody that's in a syndication extremely exposed. So it can be Capex projects that need to be done. It can be, higher condo fees. It will be higher taxes, right? It's very easy to revalue a building and go, yep, yeah, that's not worth 100 million anymore. That's worth 170 million now. based on what they paid for it. And so taxes, boom, up through the roof, depending on which state you're part of, obviously. So there's a lot of things I don't like about syndication because you're really not in control. That's just me. So happy to talk more about syndications if anybody wants to talk more about them, but that's why I stay away from syndications. Fund up for syndicator sounds like margin call for investors. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, syndications are scary. They scare the crap out of me because a lot of times you're getting in, like right now, right? If they locked in some deal at crazy numbers, right? And they got 3.5% debt. That's awesome. But in 5 years, it's going to be whatever market debt is. That's not awesome. That is not awesome at all. The other thing too about syndications is the idea is you make your money when they sell, but they don't have to sell. They can hold the property for 10 years and not sell it. They can also just refi it and not sell it, not actually take any cash out of the deal. And if they do take cash out of the deal, you might get some, but the syndicator gets a big bucket of cash. So like I said, look at your syndications. I hated the fact that they're in 7 different syndications. There's no way that a bunch of those don't lose. There's just no way. So I don't begrudge her success. I'm very excited. She did the landlord thing like us, but she thought, oh, well, we just don't want to do the work anymore. And so we're just going to pass it off and we'll just do some syndications and sign up for 7 of those. Not good. Scott Coleman. So I just popped down. I saw Scott Coleman. You popped up right when I looked at my screen, and you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Commercial debt resets. That's why you hear Michael and Dion and myself, we're always talking about 30-year fixed rate debt. I refinanced 8 properties earlier in the year, 30-year fixed rate debt. I'm in the process of refinancing 9 more properties, 30-year fixed rate debt. That puts me with the other, I think 10, I think that gives me another 10 loans, I want to say, at 30-year fixed rate debt. Mm-hmm. And the other stuff is commercial stuff that I know I have rate exposure on. So if we're going to be doing anything with those projects, like I look aggressively at deals that are more than 4 units because there's going to be a debt reset there. Obviously now there's non-QM lenders like Steve from Velocity Mortgage, Steve Dow, where you can get 30-year fixed rate debt, but it's still more expensive debt than, any of the other debt that you're going to get right now anyway. So for what it's worth, those are my thoughts on syndications. I'm not a fan, but I get it. Trying to get exposure to the market. I get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. But yeah, not for me. Not for me. Let's see. Just William Stamps. I specifically mentioned Michael Zuber for his course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. It costs, but it's well worth it. Yeah. Yep. I totally agree, Chester. I mean, it's like $350. I mean, if you're looking at buying a house and you can have somebody take you through all the different options, holy cow, $350 is nothing, but you're going to have to do the work. It's like 80 hours of content, but it's all video. So like, you can't get any better than that. Like 80 hours of video instead of 80 hours of reading a book. She would rather read the book. I'd rather watch the videos because I can take notes. So yeah, I agree. It's true. You can highlight. Larry Chong. Mike Zuber says regrets introducing his girl to RE, starting with gut renos instead of first showing her pristine rent-ready units. Worth considering if you're thinking of lure kids into RE biz. So I just disagree with Mike on that. I know that, I just disagree with him. Just because, for us, we live it every single day, and he lives being a landlord every single day, just like we do. But self-managing is completely different. That aspect of our investment is just completely different, completely different for what he does with managing all of his tenants through a property manager and what we do, because we know all of our tenants by name. We do. We know all of our, and they all know our name, and we see them in the grocery store when we're allowed to go to the grocery store. So it's just very different. And we want our kids to see that and recognize you treat people well because you will see them out in public, and you need to respect and be respectful. And so, I just disagree. We love the rehabs. I've done work with him on a Lila baby attached to me. with earmuffs on. I have a picture of that on my phone. So yeah, I just disagree. I disagree. I think Mike walked through Mike's never done the work in a rehab, and that's not a disparaging remark. That's just that was something where I've done the work. I've ripped up floors, I've ripped up ceilings, I've ripped open walls, I've done plumbing, electrical, whatever. I've built, done kitchens.
I hung insulation.
Yeah, whatever it is, I've done it all. And we've done it all. And so we actually do that as family time because I want him seeing that there's nothing his mom can't do. I want him seeing his mom not afraid to do anything. I want that for my daughters. I want that for my son. And so that's where we just do stuff together. So.
And I think that when we started off with renovation units, it helped me see like the worst and understand it's going to be okay instead of seeing it all be okay and then seeing a really worse and being like, well, this isn't going to work. Like we shouldn't do this. It just kind of was like, no, they're always really bad and we make them beautiful. And it just like got me on the whole process from the beginning. And I think that's the thing you see from the very beginning to the very end. I know our process. I can go anywhere and into any unit and get there,
Yeah, I love what Mike says about pride of ownership rentals. I believe in the same concept. We just do the work. We do a lot of the work ourselves, or we used to do all the work ourselves, and now much less of it. But even now, property management, they see us, they talk to us. So that's how we built that out. Oh, there's Ignora Amy. Hi, guys. Hi. Glad to see you again. Glad to see you too. Chester Williams at T Stamps for reference. Michael Zuber is also in California. Yep. So T Stamps, don't get discouraged. Mike's in California too. He owns 188 units now, I think, in Fresno. Don't get discouraged. You'll find the right deal. Just keep on doing the work. What you need to do is reading the book. Understand that once you create a buy box, which is this is the kind of house I'm going to be going for, then you really start to become an expert in your market where you're not leaning on the real estate agent, because so many real estate agents are just complete hot garbage. There are great ones out there. But there are so many fakes and pretenders that have no idea what comps are for properties or how to properly comp a property. So I encourage you, T-Stamps, continue to do it. If you ever see me respond to something you put in FI, the Three Amigos of FI, which is a Facebook group, don't be offended. I type short, I type clear and succinctly. It's not to be rude. It's to get a point across to make sure that you're looking at it, because I want to make sure that you have my perspective on it. If you care. Invest to Wealth. I told Mike Zuber I won the books during your YouTube live. I received the books on Monday. Fantastic. All right. Good deal. Wonderful. Matthew Paris. I finally made it to one of Ashley's live streams. Yeah, about time, Matthew Paris. Jeez. Lumberjane Landlord. That's pretty funny. We'll just call her Mrs. Lumberjack. Larry Chong. How should I go about searching for RE tax attorneys in my area? Is it sufficient to graduate to tax attorney later on a few deals and just start with a CPA specializing in real estate? So Larry, I'm not really sure on that. I think if I had it to do all over again, honestly, I probably would have picked a tax attorney in the beginning. Because now I can tell you it's going to be a huge, colossal, massive pain in my ass and her ass to change all this stuff over. It's going to suck. And so, yeah, I would be looking for, so where we got our recommendations from was the closing attorney. We got a bunch of recommendations from a closing attorney for one that one of our banks uses. We got 3 or 4 recommendations from her. And she's like, this is kind of the order in which I would talk to them. And then also from the senior vice president of lending, commercial lending for one of the banks that we do business with, also got a couple references from her. And so, yeah, that's how I would be asking for references. Don't just do a lookup. I would be asking for references just to get that experience. Talking to people in meetups, your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. So I'd be looking at that stuff for sure. So Larry, that's what I would do. Theta Hedge Capital, haha, at Matthew Paris. Yeah, that was fun. That was good. T Stamps, thank you. I'll get the book and follow what you said. Hey, look forward to seeing you on the live streams. Just consume all the data that you possibly can. I've been doing this for over 20 years and I still watch probably 6 to 7 hours a week. 6 to 7 hours a week of content at least. And not just from people that tell me what I want to hear, but also from idiots that tell me the exact opposite of what's going to happen. You guys can guess who that is. Chester Williams, fund up for syndicators. Yep, sounds like margin call. It is. That's what scares me about it. Yep. And Scott Coleman, commercial debt reset. Yep. Scott Coleman, 30-year fixed. Yep. 30-year fixed rate debt, FRD. That's what the FRD stands for, fixed rate debt. It's got to be 30-year fixed rate debt, guys. That's going to be the key to this. Rents are going to go up. Rents are going to go up. They're going to keep on going up. 30-year fixed rate debt is what the magic to rentals is going to be in the next 5 years. That I guarantee you. Because other people getting in or watching their rents, watching their numbers shift, you watch. It's going to be, it's going to get nuts, I think. Scott Coleman, one rental at a time course is $50 off with June 50 coupon. Cool. Caleb Clay, what kind of entity structure do you have set up for all your units? Trust. They're in trust. Yep, they're in a trust. Nathaniel Martin, smash the like button. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Tim Crawford. Hello, everyone. Hello, Tim. Don Cornell. Hey, Don. I don't think I've seen you on here before. Super excited to have you here. Fremont, California. Matthew Paris, are you ready for 2022 tech crash? It's going to wipe out all the real estate again. Oh, dear God. I know who said that. And I haven't even watched the video yet. I literally talked to Mike about it today. I can't remember if that was on camera.
Are you going to watch it?
I'm going to watch it. He made his 10 predictions for 2022, and I'm going to have to dismantle him because there's no way he's right. And I haven't even watched the video yet. I'm sure he's right about one or two things, but I guarantee he's not right about the lion's share of things for sure. Wipe out real estate.
I'm not
That's
sure
just
if I
delusion.
want to be around when you watch it.
I recommend no. I'll do it
I might
next
have
week.
something like to protect, like if you throw things.
I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week when you're gone. I'll do it next week when you're gone. Yeah. And guys, as we're going through here, if you're a new listener, a new watcher, please feel free to ask questions. This is, we do this time here for couples. Usually in a couple, there's usually somebody who's really proactive in the real estate thing. And then there's usually some people that aren't proactive. And so when that happens, it's great to be on the same page. And so we encourage you guys to do that stuff together. And this is a great place to get all your questions answered. So, yeah.
I'm super transparent. So
it's true. It's true. Very true. Must have been something I said, like 15 people dropped off, but that's okay. That's not a network reset. Oh, it was. Let's see. John Doe, love your philosophy on raising your kids. My 4-year-old was helping me repair stucco last week. Yep, he loved it. It was a great bonding time. Absolutely. 100%. Yep. And I have, yeah, I mean, Samuel's done a ton, and Bryn too. Bryn's the 2.5-year-old. There's no gender role in our house. Ashley restarts furnaces. I restart furnaces. Like she'll jump on a roof and shovel it off. Like there's no gender roles here. We're a team. And that means next man up, that next person up.
You mop the floors. Like
I do. I vacuum. Yep. I can do all these things. I can do all of these things. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Yes, Betta. Hi, Matt and Ashley. Hi, Betta. Happy New Year. You mentioned in one of your YouTube videos that you would not purchase Samsung or LG appliances. Why? Short answer, they suck.
Go
ahead.
Especially for Samsung, because Samsung and LG are like the same technology, basically the same company.
They use a lot of the same components. We recognize that they're two different companies,
but they're like a lot of the same components.
They do.
Samsung, especially their washers and dryers, they have like two different like actual I don't want to say motherboards, but two actually main boards. So they often fail. They have many issues. And when you do with one of those boards, you almost have to like buy two different boards to figure out which one it is. I have worked with my appliance guy multiple times. They have to go to like special Samsung training schools to kind of figure out, fully diagnose these things. And with the Samsungs that we did buy, because we went through a spurt where we bought a bunch at one time before we realized they were total crud. And
they're garbage.
They almost every single one of them had a fail in a part. And then it was like, oh yeah, we realized that that part was horrible. So we have a new upgrade kit. And then they have a kit that they have to repair their cruddy thing. Like one of our washers leaked water everywhere. And they had, oh yeah, we realized that when we attached the part there that it was just going to break off. So now we have an upgrade kit. They're just really not great. We have found that the Samsung refrigerators are not as bad as the washer and dryer. So Samsung refrigerators, much better. The washers and dryers are hot garbage. We have, with the refrigerators, we have had some air seal issues so that the freezer freezes over. That has been able to be repaired, but that's where it is. That's where we stand.
Yeah. So to give you an idea on what qualifies us to tell you this, I own 100 refrigerators.
And how many washers and dryers?
I think like 60.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're asking these questions. Ask them of somebody that owns a bunch. So we bought ones. So that's why when we pick a product, it's based on experience. It's based on looking at the numbers. It's based on how long it stood up. It's based on how much it was used. It's based on facts.
Yep.
Because a lot of these things I don't want to have to take care of. Our washer dryer broke. I know it's going to be $300 just for the guy to show up. And in all likelihood, I got to toss them. In all likelihood, I have to toss them. And that's even if they're 3 years old. And their warranties, garbage. Warranties are hot garbage. Yeah. So we had bought a $4,000 Samsung refrigerator. This was actually for our house.
Yep.
It had the TV in it and the kids would love it and they could, do their fingerprints on it and all that other happy stuff. It was awesome. Loved it. The reason I bought it was because it had no handles. And so it was a flush mount. And so where I could stick it in the wall, it was very flush. I wasn't have to worry about walking by and knocking my arms or shoulders on the handles. Within 60 days.
Yeah.
Within 60 days, the ice maker didn't work anymore. We called, it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get it repaired before COVID. It was 2 or 3 weeks to get it repaired.
Years before COVID.
And it was, if we had to pay for that, it was $650.
And that was one of those things. Oh, we realized that the mount wasn't that good, or our, seal gaskets weren't that good on this model. So we have an upgrade to it. Yeah. And they had to like upgrade our part. It was brand new. 60 days. Yeah.
So Betta, there is 5 minutes on why we don't buy Samsung or LG washer and dryers. And the funny thing is, they'll say, "Oh, LG dryers, guys, LG dryers. They're the best sellers out there. Those in Samsung." Do you know why? Because they're always on sale.
Always on sale.
Because they're always on sale with deep discounts at Lowe's and Home Depot. That's why. Yeah. So anyway, that's why it is what it is.
About how much I hate them.
Yes, because we know we've had the tenants complain, and it kind of, generally speaking, it kind of sucks. So
our appliance guy on them. We
do. Chester, curious, do you think ARMS will make a resurgence? Yes, they're already doing it. Yep. I think ARMS are going to make a resurgence. For those of you who don't know what an ARM is, it's an adjustable rate mortgage. Right now, so if you look a year ago, less than 2% of the mortgages out there were adjustable rate mortgages, residential mortgages. Now it's just under 4%. So they've doubled in a year. And I think that more are coming. And so I'm not a fan. But to give you an idea of how it is relative to what happened in 06, 7 or 05, 6, and 7, it was 52%. 52% of mortgages were that then. So
we're far off from that.
We're far off. Do you hear me, Nick from Reventure Consulting? Do you hear it?
He doesn't.
He wouldn't watch this. Dion Amy, all your homes are in a trust. Yes. Can you explain why you do that? Yes. Oh, we'll explain it. So why we do that is asset protection. So for
Yes.
our kids, if anything ever happened to us, everything's already in trust. Yep.
If something happens to him, if with any of the mortgages, whatever, we don't have to go to probate court at any point in time. It is like
Yep.
all just easily I take over as the other trustee.
Yep. Exactly.
Operating expenses, everything.
Yep. And it also fits into normal tax rules,
Mhm.
if you will, on the trust. So that's why we do that.
Mhm.
Matthew Paris, does Ashley watch his videos? Nope. Reventure Consulting's videos?
No.
Nope.
Although I'm really interested now.
Yeah, she might start.
Probably,
We'll
and
see.
just because it gets such a good rise out of it. Might as well just watch this
I
guy.
cannot. Yeah, it's not good. Julie Anderson, when I get out of Facebook jail, I'm going to start a county group for real estate investors. That's really awesome. I think that anytime that an investor can give back to other people that are trying to get on the proper ladder, I think it's so critical. That's the whole reason that I do my channel. Don't need the money. Not going to get the money from YouTube. Heaven knows that's a rounding error. And so I do it A, so I don't have to have the same conversation 1,000 times, and B, so I can still help people. So I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I watched the video. It was a huge help, especially on the rehab stuff, especially on rehabbing 120-year-old homes. I've gotten pretty decent at that. So it's good. T Stamps, no offense to DR. I think that's Dave Ramsey. But why does he recommend 15-year mortgages and buying rental properties outright when not everyone is a millionaire? Because he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to real estate investing. He got crushed in the mid 80s because he was buying homes with 90-day debt. 90-day debt. And he thinks that somehow he blew up in real estate. He had like $3 or $4 million worth of real estate. He blew up because he was dumb about how he had his money, because he was dumb about how he structured his debt. Real estate is a debt game and it's a cash flow game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So he blew up for one reason and one reason only. He had a garbage debt structure. That's why Dave Ramsey blew up. If you're just trying, again, I don't want to have enough money to retire when I'm 65. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that. I want to have enough money to do whatever I want right now. And I do. I can do whatever I want. I can quit my job tomorrow. Not a big deal. I won't, but not today. But yeah, Dave Ramsey's wrong. He's just flat out wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He believes that the bank can come and take your house. Do you realize how difficult it is to get somebody out of a primary residence? Even if it's an investment property, it's a little bit easier, but still not super easy. You still have to go through the 90 days late, then default, then foreclosure. I mean, it is a months and months long process. It just is. So yeah, I vehemently disagree with Dave Ramsey. He's giving people advice. It's like me telling people not to invest in the stock market because I got my clock cleaned. Yeah, I got my clock cleaned in the stock market. It's not for me. I like longer horizon assets. I like the cash flow. If there were a bunch of stocks out there that paid 20% dividends, I'd be in them, but they don't. So I'm not. So yeah, that's the deal. Yeah, that's the deal. So great question, T-Stamps, great question. But that's why Dave Ramsey, he is not the guy to listen to when it comes to real estate. He is completely out of his depth. Yep. A lot of other principles I do agree with him on, like, car payments and budgets and all that stuff is important. But yeah, his opinion on real estate investment, 15-year debt, that's just dumb. It's dumb. Because to your point, it's nearly that instantly would bring home ownership from 68% down to like 48%. It'd completely change. Mm-hmm. And that, yeah, it's just not right. Betta, Matt, is it possible to get a 30-year fixed on a commercial property? It is. It is not through a normal conventional bank because they do 3, 5, 7, and 10 are the most often products that you're going to find. So you can, but the way that you do 30-year fixed rate debt is through something called a non-QM lender, which is a non-qualified mediary lender. Basically what they assess is the value of the asset and the cash flow of the asset, not you as the borrower, but the actual asset itself. So that's the way to get 30-year fixed rate debt on commercial property. You will pay up for that. So if you can get, right now I can get 375 30-year fixed rate debt, or excuse me, 375 on a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage on commercial. If I want 30-year fixed rate debt, it's more like 475. It's another whole point, and I'm paying probably a point at least to close, maybe 2. So yeah, you pay up for it, but it's still all the same numbers. Still all the same numbers. So that's what I would look at. Great question, Betta. And you can correct me if I'm not saying your name right. Chester Williams. I don't even give RVC any mental real estate, reventure capital. All that fear propaganda is for clicks and views. Totally agree. The only reason that I watch him is because I have a lot of people send me emails about things that he said, asking me questions about it, or I have a lot of people with regret. And I hate that. So I have to know what he's telling people so I can put something out there and just combat the, combat the stupid soup. It's a stupid antidote. Because if I just turn a blind eye, listen, he's reaching 1,500 people with his live streams and 140,000 subscribers. And I get it. People like the fear porn. Fine, knock yourself out. But there's too many people that watch his stuff that eventually will find me or Mike or Dion, and they'll be encouraged. And so I have to know what lies are being told and what things are being spun so I can speak more to them, because if I know up front, I can have that conversation with somebody and saying, yeah, I saw the graph that he showed and here's where it's flawed. Yeah. So that's usually why I watch it. So I hate putting myself through the abuse. It's literally, truly to try and help other folks. Matthew Paris, John Doe. I have my 7-year-old help me on my property when he's available. Yep. It's hilarious. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? So our son, Samuel, is a little bit kind of this, and our daughter, Bryn, is all about like, yeah, daddy, I can do that. So she's 2.5. She does a better job a lot of times. Sorry, buddy.
She's focused.
She's focused. She is. Yeah. Yep. John Doe, but you do have to admit Reventure has a killer beard. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. His beard is garbage. His beard's about as good as his opinions on real estate.
Now I'm definitely watching.
Yeah, he's got one of those like I remember when I went 3 days without shaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've totally got to pull this guy up.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and here's the other thing too is again, just being honest about it. I can tell you, I have watched him, but I was like, where is his perspective coming from? He's an underwriter. He's an underwriter, undertaker, underwriter. Like, you make the decision. He has his decisions based on being an underwriter, which is I get given a box by my company of what their risk tolerance is. And then I'm constantly judging every single deal based on what their risk tolerance is. He worked for a tiny little firm, actually about an hour away from me. And they were a smaller firm. Anytime you have to talk about this is what I've done in the last 10 years as a business. Yeah. There are a few $1 billion in lending, but again, he's an underwriter. And so you're looking and you're assessing based on the risk profile and risk appetite that your company's given you. That's why I think that he's looking at things like an underwriter. And I think that underwriters are like Peter Schiff. They're wrong far more often than they're right. I've had a number of underwriters kill deals on me that I then went and got the deal done somewhere else. And the deal is killer. Like, guess they were wrong again. So yeah, just one of those things that we definitely watch for sure. Yep, for sure. Again, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to our time together, I'm Matt, the Lumberjack Landlord. This is Mrs. Lumberjack, Ashley. If you're a couple and you want to ask questions, please feel free to ask questions. There's no stupid questions. We don't judge you. We are here to answer everybody's questions because we were in your shoes too. Totally. We're just not in your shoes now because we've done this 100 times. And so, yeah, that's that. So if you have questions, please feel free. Dion Amy, I just bought a washer and dryer, Samsung. Wow. And refrigerator. Sorry. Damn. And stove. So they do these great bundles. That's why you bought them.
Dude.
And they're pretty. Their design guys are amazing. Like really good design.
Sleek looking.
Yeah, they are sleek looking. The Samsung stove we never had an issue with.
I don't know when we bought a Samsung stove, did we?
Yeah, I bought everything Samsung.
Then the stove is great.
Yeah, the stove was awesome. Yeah, the stove was really awesome. What was the washer and dryers were garbage. This fridge had a problem within the first 6 months. It was a $4,000 fridge, but it was under warranty. But then it had another problem later, and so we had to fix that. Microwaves. The microwaves die.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been through they. I had this one building where I bought Samsung everything. It was a $28,000 purchase for appliances, and almost every so all the fridges have been fine. 3 out of the 4 dishwashers have been fine. 3 out of the 4 stoves have been fine. And we didn't, it's because we didn't use Samsung washer and dryer.
Nope.
We did Maytags, right? Maytag front loaders.
Because we bought the kitchen appliances before we furnished the
That's
before
right.
we
Before
did
we did
the laundry rooms there, and we started having issues in our other buildings, and that's when our appliance guy was like, seriously, Samsung is hot garbage.
He's like, don't buy them anymore. Like,
and he's like, I will not come service you. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
He was making money off of us. So
Chester Williams, I have a Samsung washer dryer. See, a lot of people do. Guys, we're
Everyone
guilty too. We have a ton of them. We've had a ton of them. When they die or when they start having problems, it's $300-400. You can get a brand new one for like a Maytag or something like that, or a Whirlpool Gold or a Frigidaire Gallery. Yeah. So we've kind of shifted over to, and GE, we've kind of shifted over to different product lines.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just us. Matthew Paris, don't even get me going on LG washers. I'm tired of rebuilding my GD front load washer, and the fridges all have glass shelves that break after 6 months because the plastic cracks the edge on the edges. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. We sadly know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, Dawn, sorry I'm late. How's Little Lumberjack? Thank you very much for asking, Little Lumberjack. I'll let Ashley give that update.
So Little Lumberjack had her MRI. So we did a full MRI, full bone scan, and a chest CAT scan on Tuesday. And we got the call as we were driving back from Boston that her scans are completely clear and free. Her MRI could not show any like tumors or cancer spots of any sort. She originally had 2 spots on her ribs that our first repeat scans showed they were clearing, and this shows that the lesions are completely gone and healed, and that there's just bone regrowth there, which is amazing. So it couldn't have been any better news. It couldn't have been any better news. Her oncologist even said, I'm thrilled, and way to go, Ellie. So she is kicking cancer's butt and is doing awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So Dawn, thanks for asking. We're super blessed, and we appreciate each and every single prayer and everything that you guys have done and all the encouragement. We really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, our daughter was diagnosed with a very rare cancer. She was 5 months old when she was diagnosed. She's now 9 months. She was given an 8% chance to live in September. We then started with some surgeries and a bunch of other things, and then cancer treatment after she healed. And so she's now in much better condition, much better shape. She's doing really well. The cancer treatment's going well. And so, it's been awesome to be a part of, that miracle for sure. Yeah. So it's, we're very blessed. Love to be able to share that news with you guys. And so, very, very, very exciting. Very excited to have that. Yep. So all right. So we'll do some rapid fire stuff. Larry Chung, 30-year fixed rate debt. Yep. Is there any type of commercial debt that you see as worthwhile? Any commercial debt that doesn't have resets? Yeah. So non-QM lenders is it. That's it. That's it. And a lot of sellers don't know about non-QM lenders. So you can usually, you're going to start to see pressure. You'll start to see pressure on commercial properties with debt and with rates increasing. Do you get that?
Nope.
Okay. Don, I had to replace my LG washer that was 3 years old. Yep. The card went out and was going to cost $600 to replace. Yep. I replaced with a Whirlpool. See, guys, this is why we do these live streams, get everybody talking about this stuff. If you've bought one of these, you've had experiences with it. So this is why we do this stuff. I'm so appreciative that you guys get involved and we have these conversations. Julie Anderson, it's going to be a good year. Yes, it is. Yep. It's going to be a great year. No matter what, it's going to be what we make of it. Right. And so we might do 5 deals this year. We might do 15 deals this year. No idea. We might sell some stuff. We might not sell some stuff. Probably not going to sell some stuff, but we'll definitely be buying for right now.
What you'd sell.
Yeah. A couple of single families that we own. We only own 2. So we're in the process right now of levering them up with debt. Yep. And then we'll rent them out.
Yeah.
But the thing is after we lever them with debt and rent them out, they just don't make a lot of money. They're kind of a pain in my ass.
They're not really worth anything.
No. Yeah. Yeah, Matthew Paris. Yeah, she watched it. Yeah. Yep. She'll watch me watching him. Yep. She'll be like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "That idiot." She's like, "Oh, I don't know why you watch him." So it was funny because I said to Mike today, I said, "Yeah, when we finish the live stream, I might pop him on and just watch that, predictions for 2022." And then I realized, I was like, there's no way I can watch that before bed.
You will not.
No, I will not sleep. I'll go mental.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that won't work. Yep. And it's just because it's just not honest. It's just such data cherry picking. I hate it. Yeah. Yep. John Doe, awesome. Matthew Paris. Yeah, we grew up the same, always helping dad to do projects. Yeah, I think that's an awesome time for sure. Donovan Perk. So how many years of doubling away is that? Are you talking about units? I don't know. Sorry, Don. If you put it down below, I'll still answer it. I promise. Chester Williams. Yeah, channeling your inner Dion. Yeah, I try. He's awesome. I love working with Dion. But not today. But we did do today.
Yeah.
REI trainer Matt, are your non-QM lenders for 1 to 4 units, 30-year fixed, non-recourse, or do you have personal guarantee? So in the interest of full disclosure, I've done paperwork with non-QMs. I've still not done a loan with them. So I've presented some things to them just to kind of get their feedback on it. But even I still have to personally guarantee with my bank. I still have to personally guarantee my stuff anyway. That's because it's in a trust. It's not in an LLC. That's why I can get debt, that sort of thing. That's why they have no problem with my growing. And for me, it's maybe I'm just an infant about it, but if I'm out there doing the business and I'm putting the deals together and something goes sideways, I didn't walk away from any of my bad debt in 2008. I kept it all. Almost bankrupt me 3 times. Where I was just like, we've got $16,000 in bills and I've got $6,000 of money. So let's figure this out. And so we lived through that and I didn't walk away from a dime. So bankruptcy laws exist for a reason. I get it. It just wasn't for me. So, yep. Matthew Paris, got to know what other points of view are. So unfortunately, we all should be watching people like Nick. Yeah, that's exactly right, Matthew. 100%. It's torturous to watch him, but I do have to. It's just a have to kind of thing. Ashley, what appliances would you highly recommend?
We love GE. We love Maytag. So I've had a really good luck with GE and Maytag, and they've been easy to fix. So when something has gone wrong with them, it's been an easy diagnosis, easy fix. We've been able to get the parts, but obviously, so.
Yeah. Yep. True story.
I love those.
Yes.
Yep. Whirlpool 2 we've used too sometimes.
Yeah. So we've done Whirlpool, we've done Whirlpool Gold, we've done Maytags. and
We've had
GEs.
a lot of GE fridges, I think. Those have been great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been good.
Yep.
Again, if you're just joining the channel, I'm Matt, Mr. Lumberjack. This is Ashley, Mrs. Lumberjack. We're investors in a little over 100 units in real estate, and we are here to answer couples' questions. That's why we are here. And so if you have a question about real estate, we won't make fun of you, I promise. So ask the question. This is a safe place. This is a safe place. Matthew Parrish, you have no idea how often I turn off his videos screaming. No, I get it for sure. I have to limit my time, and it has to be, yeah, it's not good. John Doe, Reventure has patches. Yeah, it's so true. So true. Hey, Nick. This is what a man beard looks like, bro. Beard envy, I'm sure. Chester Williams, enough of RVC, back to RUI. Yes, sir, you got it. Matthew Parrish, sorry, Matt, didn't mean to derail you into this video into a Reventure gossip session. Yeah, it's fine. I think people coming and watching, I think it's important that they know we watch all the stuff out there, because we're not just listening, or we're not just watching stuff for people to tickle our ears, you know, and be like, oh, we're really doing the right thing. The 3 people that we watch say that. I've taken a bunch of data from a bunch of different places. And yeah, so yep, it's important to watch things even that you don't agree with. REI trainer, I bet John Doe is actually Reventure trolling us and laughing at all the gossip here. That would be awesome. I would love that. I've actually I've offered to debate him. I said, you know, if you get more likes than I do and more people agree with you than agree with me after we both present our cases, I'll give $1,000 to any charity you want. Yep. So
Won't happen.
Yeah, I'm in his feeds. I'm in his feeds. I'm like, do you really need the $5 from Nick from Tuscaloosa? Do you really need that $5 he's going to give you to look up a chart? That's just garbage. That's garbage. That's jump the shark. I don't need to do that. I have a successful real estate portfolio, so I don't need to get paid for giving an opinion on something like that. Chester Williams, have a Samsung convection oven. The convection fan died after 7 years. Yep. Oh, tell them the other brand that we hate.
Oh, Bosch.
Yeah, Bosch is
Hate
garbage.
Bosch.
Yep.
With a fiery passion. I think that's even worse than Samsung.
It is.
Really not, but
no,
it's pretty bad. Just
It
because they're so flippin' expensive. They are expensive to buy. So can I tell them how we have Bosch?
Yeah.
Okay. So the house that we are in now, we bought this house and it was a new construction. It was only a few years old when
it was new construction in 2018.
2018, we bought it. It was only 2 years old. So the appliances in this place are 2 years old. They're Bosch. And you can tell they were super expensive. Like
we looked them up. They were expensive.
They were expensive. You know, there was a nice package. Let's say every single one of them has had an issue. Every single one has died. Like, I shouldn't say died, but has had issues. The small leak on our refrigerator was going to cost
$950.
$950.
Yeah.
That's dumb for a
rail.
For a rail. Don't even get me started.
Yeah. It's been, so our big built-in convection microwave, that's dead.
My oven, the worst performance you've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's a very expensive convection oven. The gas top cook range, that's great. That's fine.
It's the only thing that works.
Yep. The dishwasher is decent. But quite frankly, we've had a bunch of those from other companies that were great. And the fridge was the $950 for that. And then it was $600 for that flapper in the French door that I fixed. I literally was just like, I'm not paying that. And so I bought the part online and I took it apart and put it together myself while I watched the kids one Saturday. I was so bummed that I wasted my time doing that, but I just, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
So anyway, hate Bosch.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Maybe other people love them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Bosch has been really bad. Bosch and Electrolux. I would say, Electrolux, our Electrolux dryer.
died.
Yeah. Electrolux dryer died 3 years.
Completely
Died 3 years
not repairable.
Not repairable. Yep. They literally were like, yep, we can repair this and it's $1,400. Well, you can buy a brand new one for 12.
Oh, but then we were under quarantine and we tried to get them to repair it because we couldn't get a new one in because of COVID and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't even repair it.
Yeah.
They tried all the parts that they said they could try, unrepairable, not repairable.
Do they ever charge us for that?
No.
Okay. Yeah. We did not authorize them to charge. They're like, well, we installed the part. We're like,
but you said you could have it right back. It never worked.
Didn't work. I'm not paying you $900 for a broken, like, honestly, some of these repair companies are ridiculous.
Now I'm all hot and bothered. Like that drives me. It
was a little bit annoying. Chris Miller. Hey, Chris. Hello from Chris, Amanda, and 1 month old Charlotte. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. We just hopped on. Not sure if you guys went through this yet. We want to know how difficult starting this real estate journey was for you two. Yeah. So Ashley can talk to that.
So he had started real estate and had done a couple house hacks by the time that we met and got married. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I was getting into this, but I didn't really know what that really meant. So for him, totally fine. He kind of has been exposed to real estate with his mom, and I had no exposure. Really nothing at all. So it was difficult for me. Especially to see the types of properties we were buying, which were usually foreclosed at the time and really gross and run down and and they stink and they're horrid. And the
trifecta: crack, cat pee, and squatters. Yeah, we bought those.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so for me, it was hard for me to walk into these buildings and see what they could become. And Matt was able to walk into these buildings and say, like, put everything aside and know what they could become and just run the numbers and say, yes, this deal makes sense. And to me, the numbers meant nothing because I was like, this place is crud. Why would we ever buy it? It doesn't matter. And so then as we had done a few of them, I realized, oh, you can turn something that looks horrible, smells horrible into something beautiful. And people love to rent it. People are loving to live here. And, oh, look, we actually have extra money now. This is wonderful. And it became a wonderful thing.
Yep. Yeah. If you're new to the live stream, I'm Matt, Lumberjack Landlord. This is Ashley, Mrs. Lumberjack Landlord. We're here as a couple. We invest in real estate. We've got about 100 units. And we make ourselves available to talk to new investors, just like Chris Miller talked about the journey that they're embarking on. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on Charlotte. That's super awesome news. We'll answer any of your questions that you have on real estate. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. Mm-hmm. We remember vividly what it was like for us. The only thing that I will tell you is that it was I've been doing this for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't just I'm bothered by some of those folks that are like, yeah, I've got 50 units and I've done it in 2 years. Do you own them? Are they like $7,000 units in like a horrible area? Like, I want to know a little bit. My seasoning, as you guys know, and as you invest in real estate, it's going to be really important that you guys see how things season. And I can tell you, when you've done it through the Great Recession, it was a whole list of lessons. That's why I know Nick is factually wrong. Reventure Consulting is factually wrong about how he sees this carrying out. He is completely out of his depth. He does not know what he's talking about. And so he can chart it up all he wants. Let's see. Don and Bev Perkins. Yep. He has a beard. Yep. Great to hear. Matthew Parrish. Great to hear Little Lumberjack is going well. Yeah, she's doing very well. Thank you. Thank God about Eliana. Great news. Yes. Very blessed. Yep. Padua. Congratulations. Padua, thank you so much for joining the channel. I haven't seen your name before, so super excited that you're here with us. And I appreciate the congratulations. Although we didn't really do anything except for driving to Boston and watching the other kids. So we're blessed to have amazing doctors and very blessed to have as many people praying for us as they are. So, that's a lot about you guys. Yeah. So we really appreciate that. And we just walking in the miracle every day for sure. Yeah. John Doe, awesome news on the baby. Yep. God is great. He is. Great. Yep. Very blessed. Dion Amy, I must tell you both, I am so proud of my wife. She just moved from the Dominican Republic and she is at home doing the work. This eight's hard for her because she doesn't understand all the terms. Yeah, I totally get it. Totally get it. It is really, really hard. There's a lot of acronyms in investing, real estate investing. So, do you have any recommendations so you can help her? I would, so this is kind of a horrible recommendation, but this is what I did. When I would go through it and I'd see something I didn't understand, I would look it up and I would write it down what it said it was. And so I just had like a little notebook that I did that in. So worth it. For me, I learned by writing things down and reading them or seeing them actually. And so hearing them, I'm not very good at, but writing them down, it's probably in there forever. And so I would just encourage you to take that extra step. And when you see something, look it up real quick. Cause I mean, obviously like I did this when I couldn't do it on my phone. And so speaking of my phone, I need to make sure that I didn't get a message from a tenant. It's not a tenant. So yeah, so I would just recommend doing a lookup, writing it down, and it'll help you commit it to memory a lot easier. So that's what I would recommend. There's no really kind of shortcut. There's no like glossary terms or cliff notes or anything like that. I'm sure you can probably find something online, but that's what I did, and it made it really easy. So now I really can kind of understand everything, and I can kind of figure out the acronyms a lot more now, and those that I don't know. So yeah, that'd be my recommendation. Invest to wealth. Great news on baby lumberjack. We agree. Thank you. Benjamin Howell. Hey, Benjamin Howell. I think you're new to the channel. And if I'm not, well, still happy to have you here like everybody else. If looking to house hack and do residential financing, would 2 duplexes on the same property be considered a 4-unit financing, or do they need to all be connected to be a fourplex? That is an excellent question. So believe it or not, it depends on the bank. It depends on the bank. So I just bought 2 duplexes on the same lot, and my bank considered it a 4 units. So what that meant was I didn't get to buy it with 20% down. I had to buy it with 25% down. I was like, that just sucks. I hate putting bigger deposits down. Helps the cash flow, but on the deals that I'm buying, I don't need the cash flow that much. I don't need to be in the 20s and 30%. I just don't. Sorry. Last night was a long night. I got like 2.5 hours of sleep. And so the kids climbed on me. I was sitting on the couch and Samuel goes, Daddy, I want to jump on your back. Okay. I laid down. He jumped on my back a couple of times, and I remember waking up and no one was there. Everybody disappeared. It's like, Ash, where'd you go?
The kids all go, oh, Dad's sleeping. And I had a grocery order to pick up. I'm like, well, we got to get in the car. We weren't quiet about it either.
No, it's so funny. Yeah, I fell asleep. Gone. Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, so look at your bank. But what I would tell you, Benjamin, is talk to some other banks, ask them. Usually what you will find is that if it's 2 duplexes and they are on the same lot, they can still consider that residential. If it were 2 duplexes and you're trying to do a deal, but they were on separate lots, at that point, they might consider doing 2 separate resi deals for you. A lot of banks, if you're bringing them to them at the same time, will make you do that a commercial deal because they're on 2 separate, believe it or not. So yeah, ask your bank, talk to your bank, talk to other banks and see what they're willing to do for you, because that is almost always an internal policy thing. It is, and that's something that it's not a guaranteed this is the way that they're going to answer. So great question. Holy cow, that's a lot of questions fast. Matthew Paris, Speed Queen top load, 110% best washer, hands down. Totally agree. All steel drum. Yep. The biggest problem with Speed Queens is they really are commercial dryers and washers and dryers. That's the biggest issue that I've seen with them, is they really are commercial. And so it's completely different repair rates and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, we actually have I did a video probably like 90 days ago talking about washers and dryers. And so in a couple of my larger buildings, I actually built a laundry room. And so we're putting in washers and dryers there, and we're going to actually use speed queens. Yep. So totally agree with you. Totally agree. REI trainer, thanks for the feedback on investor loans. By the way, I also like GE. Very cool. Yep. Easy to fix. Yep. A lot of these manufacturers sometimes have the same parts, so I stick to those if possible. Yeah. So GE, Maytag, Whirlpool. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yep. I like those are the ones that I like as well. Matthew Paris at REI trainer. I'm on the floor out of breath right now at your comment. LOL. Oh, which one? Which comment? Oh, yeah, John Doe. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Shamir Bless. Hey, Shamir. Happy holidays, Lumberman and Lumber Lady. Thank you. I know you're leverage your properties to 30% loan to value. Do you have any lender who lend on investment property at 15% LTV? So it's 70% LTV, 30% is what we would have left for equity. You can do those, but you can get those. Usually 20 is probably usually the best that you can get. For me, it's different because I own more than 10 properties. And so I have to do different loans. If you're under 10 properties, you can probably get a 15% loan to value deal. You just have to shop for it. So, or an 85% loan to value deal. Yeah, you can probably find some conventional lender that's probably willing to do something like that for you, for sure. Yeah, Matthew Paris, my Samsung convention oven went out after 3 months. Yeah, garbage. Yeah. Jernil Diaz, Matt, what do you look for on a property tour? Ashley, one of the biggest mistakes you learned from early on. So, Ashley, go first. Ashley, one of the biggest mistakes you learned from early on.
My biggest mistake, I would say, is being scared of great deal, like being scared of that a great deal was going to bog us down too much. Basically, situation is Matt had a couple buildings that he really loved, and he's like, I think these buildings are really great. And I was like, nope. And I'm thinking, we're not at a place right now where we could do a construction project. It would just put a lot of stress on us. And I was thinking so short-sighted of, for the next couple months, it's going to be a lot of extra work and a lot of extra stress, and I'm not into it. So then I just immediately didn't like that property. I didn't like the house. I saw it as just a burden, and I should have just been more aggressive earlier. I should have trusted you earlier, because there are properties as we're driving around our town where Matt's like, I should have bought that. And there's a lot of those. And so I'm like, why didn't you buy that one? He goes, you didn't like it. And I'm like, oops. And they're great properties, and they're really doing well. Like, you can track them on Zillow or whatever. And you're like, yep, that was my fault. So that's definitely one of my biggest mistakes. My other one was, I was newer coming into this. There wasn't a Michael Zuber, get your money right thing. And I would say that finances wise, I didn't have the best system starting out on how to track finances. That was a huge mistake. A lot of huge, like I definitely.
Yep. We have a great marriage. We don't really fight. We fight about some stuff, and she's not stupid.
I'm not a spendaholic. I just wasn't tracking it the right way.
Yeah.
So it's not even that I was buying a ton of stupid stuff. I just wasn't tracking appropriately what we needed. So I might have overdrawn my account a few times.
By how much?
Over $300.
No.
My personal account, I did.
Yeah, the personal. What about the business account?
That one day that I wrote a bunch of checks out thinking I was doing a great job paying all the bills. And I was like, yes, go me. And I didn't pay attention to other checks that had been written out of that account. And I can't remember how many thousands of dollars, but it was a lot. And
it was 11.
It was 11. Okay. So that's why I didn't remember. I blacked it out. We've lived to tell the tale.
Yes, true story. Yeah, that was frightening.
Bad night.
Oh, that was so bad. Yeah.
Babe, did you write checks out of the account? yeah, I paid the bills. He's like, I have chips bouncing like super balls.
Yeah, that's literally what I
I
said.
have a lot of contractors that need to get paid.
Yeah, because I pride myself on paying my guys. Any contract we use, as soon as they finish, they get paid, and I pride myself on that. That's our reputation. And so when that happened, I love my wife so much, and I was just so bummed. Oh, I was so bummed. Yeah, I was so bummed.
Thank God you never stopped loving me.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, regardless, after that, I went to a cash budget.
Yes.
Figured out my money, got my money right. We're great now.
Jernil, Diaz. So on what do I look for on a property tour? I'm looking at expensive stuff to fix. I'm looking for roofs, leaks, heating systems, piping. Is it all copper? Is it PEX? Cabinets, just the expensive stuff, baths, kind of looking at that, and I can kind of run through my head. I know that, typically a kitchen that I find is going to cost me between $5,000 and $7,000 to do. For those of you guys who haven't seen the video, I did a fantastic video on a flip that I did, or actually was on a house that Ashley couldn't even go in the house because it had such bad mold, and she was pregnant with Samuel. And so I bought the house because I was just like, it'll be beautiful. You'll love it. Just trust me. And she's like, okay. And then her mom was like, you really trust him, like buying a house and like doing everything? And I was like, shut up. I'm awesome. Like, what are you talking about? See previous 10 projects. So crushed it, and the house is amazing. And
anyway, there's a video out there.
Yeah, there's a video. So I think it's awesome lumberjack project, I think is what the name of that video is. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So Jernil, to answer your question, I just look at the big stuff. Yep. I'm looking at big stuff. Foundation stuff. So foundation, heating systems, roofs. I'll look at, windows too. It's just one of the things, and I'll count up the windows. I'll be like, 20 windows in this place. Well, if they all need replacing, that's, might be as much as $500 a window. If I'm on a busier road, I'll use something called an STC window to cut down noise. And so those run, $600 a window. So you could be talking about a $12,000 bill for windows plus, retrimming and all that other stuff. That's usually what I look for. William Batista. Hey, William. You never been here before. Excited to have you. As a rule of thumb, when it comes to rate, our cash out refi is higher than rental investment purchases. Oh, did I? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I did. Sorry. Let me go back. Amafit. Hey, Amafit. Good to have you here. Just finished Lifestyles Unlimited case study. Great night for real estate. Awesome. Very cool. Super excited to have you here. Hip Harp Silver. For my own home, what do you think about Generac generator system? Don't like it as much as I like Kohler's. I've done multiple. So we've had a 10,000 watt generator and a 25,000 watt generator. Those are both Kohler's. I've had friends that have had Generacs. They've just had more issues. They've had issues, period. Like when the power went out, it didn't turn on. I was like, dude, it's only there for one thing. And so, and but Kohler's been good. 10,000 and 25,000 watt Kohlers have been fantastic. Yeah. Okay, now I'm back down to Janelle. Also, Matt, do you have an ETA on when your course is coming out? Thank you both for all that you do and giving back. You're very welcome. So no, I don't have an ETA. I've got everything outlined. I've done some of the videos. Right now, so the challenge that we have is when the baby goes down to Boston for treatment. I have a W-2 job. I manage all the properties while she's gone at the hospital with the baby. And so
with a 4 and a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah. So, and I have the 4 and 2.5-year-old are keeping dad busy. And so the biggest thing is the goal on those days is just make it to the end of the day and have nothing blow up and make sure that I've done my real job work, make sure that my tenants are taken care of. So I just haven't had the time. It's going to be, so we originally were going to do it and we're going to have it ready for Q1, which is January, February, March. Now it's probably going to be more like end of Q2 would be my guess. So probably 6 months out. Yep. But I'll be here and I'll answer your questions for free. So how about that? Deal. So yeah, so thank you very much for asking. Thank you again for all you're doing and giving back. Janelle, you're very welcome. I'm super excited that you're here. William Batista. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, when it comes to rate, are cash out refis higher than rental investment purchases? So there are banks that charge more. Usually what you'll find is you will find that there's a difference. Usually what you'll find is there is a difference on loan to value. So if you're cashing out, it's usually 70%. If you are buying it and you've already hit your 10 and you're buying with just a normal debt product and it's, let's say, a duplex, now it's 20%. So you're having to put, it's an extra 10 points. If you're doing cash out, you're getting less cash back because they don't want to put that much in. So, and you'll also find typically that refis are lower than purchases because they have to make the justification to the bank of what the thing's worth, as opposed to having a counterparty that's willing to pay that price and willing to sell that price. You have a transaction there. You have a meeting of the minds. So great question, William. John Doe, REI trainer just blew my cover. It's me, Nick. I watch all three amigos content and then contradict the data for $5 super chats. Saving for a new plasma for my mom's basement. Well done, John Doe. Well done. Matthew Paris, did you say you bought a crack house before? Yep. How did you get rid of the ammonia smell? So there had been crack smoked there. I don't think it was an actual crack house. So, because we found evidence of it there when we were doing the clean out. But yeah, there was no residual. Yeah, no residual smell. We also had it gutted to the studs. So it's true. Yeah, we didn't just rehab what was there. We gutted to the studs.
Mm-hmm. That was when we were like going lead crazy. Everything had to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Take it all.
Yeah. Take every bit. Yep. 100%. Yeah. Chester Williams, John Doe. Yeah, that's funny. Matthew Paris, probably oil-based kills. Don't get the water-based kills. Yep. So many people who use it say it's hot garbage. It is. That kills product is junk.
The water-based?
Yeah, the water-based is junk.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, water-based kills is booty. Yep. It's awful. Yep. Chris Miller. Chris. Here we go. I'm just gonna scroll up. There we go. Chris Miller. Okay, here we go. Right when I felt like I caught up. Can you walk us through how you determine what your future repairs Capex is when looking at a deal? I'm trying to figure out this process and get better accuracy for what it will be long term. So Chris, so you'll get big one day, not big like this, but big in number of units. When you get big in number of units, so what I do is I have kind of 50 grand that I just don't touch, or 30 grand that I just don't touch. It just sits there. And that way, anything that comes up that's big, that cash flow might, or that fund might not address it, then I've got a stack of cash there basically to take care of it. So I don't have a hard and fast rule. Dion and Mike are both better to listen to on that than I am. Dion self-manages, but he still hires out most of the work. Mike has a property manager, and so he pays for everything to be done. For us, a lot of stuff we can do. I don't have to pay a plumber $150 to go restart the furnace. We don't have to pay usually when we're not quarantined, we don't have to pay a plumber, $150 to swap out a sink or a faucet. So because we do a lot of that work ourselves, we don't budget nearly as much for it, but we do have that fund there that's, like I said, 30 grand or so. But we've never, like, even a roof, like we can replenish it like that with cash flow.
Yeah.
Just based on how many units we have. Yeah. 100 units. Yeah, it's not an issue. So I'm not the best advice for you there. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah. Julie Anderson, do you have any knowledge on pay washer dryers? I got rid of the rentals and plan on buying. Yep. Speed Queen. Yep. Did the math. Love them. They're efficient. When they break, they've got the parts. They're available. They're far more durable than the other stuff that you're going to find. Like if you find another brand like an LG or something like that, and then throw a coin op on it. Nope. Speed Queen. So when we put stuff in our laundry area, it's going to be Speed Queen for sure. There's one other brand out there, but I think Speed Queen literally owns like 86% of the market. It's nuts. They own that market. Yep. Chester Williams, a 4-3, so 4-bed, 3-bath for 2,100 square feet, came up on Redfin for $300K. Have to check area, average rents, but it looks like it could be a good deal. House looks dated, but a modest rental budget could command higher rent. Awesome. Love it. Yeah, love that. Love that. Love that. Sounds good. Let me know the numbers. Marek Madej, I hope I said your name right. Hi, could you explain your reverse offer strategy? Thanks. Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for attending. I've not seen your name before. Super excited that you came. So the reverse offer strategy is when the market was super, super hot, one of the biggest issues that people would have is everybody would jump in, they would be throwing these crazy numbers at the seller. And so the seller, it was just numbers based. And what I always teach is that the seller often, yes, price is a factor, but there's almost always other factors.
Mhm.
And the other factors can be it's an estate.
Mhm.
It can be they are older now and they can't do stairs. It can be we had one place where the lady had wood stoves. She's like, I can't do the wood. Like I can't walk outside. I can't chop the wood. Even if I have it chopped, I can't go outside and carry it in to do my heat. And so she's like, it's just time for me to move on. And for her, she'd been in that house for 30 years. So the deal that I negotiated for them was I always have my broker, he is trained to ask them, hey, can you tell us the top 3 things that are the most important to you? And somebody always says price. Well, yeah, I get it. Aside from price, what are the other things? Is it, a lot of, idiots go in there like, oh, I'll pay cash. I'll write a check right now. A lot of people don't want that. A lot of people are like, I can't even think about having to move in 2 weeks. What are you joking? Mm-hmm. Others say, yeah, everybody's already out of the house. I want to deal in 2 weeks. Then I don't even have to think about this and I get my check. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I would definitely caution you. So the whole concept of the reverse offer strategy is I will actually wait until after an open house has happened on a Saturday, Sunday, when they're considering offers. I'll have my agent reach out and say, hey, he was there. He really loved the property. He's local. He's from the area. Here's his proof of funds. Here's his pre-approval letter. And, the only thing that we would ask is that if you guys have an idea of, based on what you're seeing in these other offers, if you have kind of your top 3 things that you'd like to see, at least let us know what that is. Now, the cool thing is that, does that mean that I pay whatever they come back with? No. It means that I just got bumped to the front of the line. And now I'm at least in a position where I can negotiate the deal. Mm-hmm. And so we just did that on one deal that was 9 investors. I won the deal and I was the number 6 price or number 3 price. Mm-hmm. I did that. We did it on 32. Yep. Won that deal. That deal they had 17 offers or 18 offers on that deal. And I was number 4 or 5. Wasn't even the top. I wasn't even in the top 5, maybe 7. Because I remember them saying, yeah, your offer wasn't even top 5. And so we just asked about it. And so what we ended up doing was I ended up providing her a dumpster. Mm-hmm. I ended up providing her help for 1 day. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'll provide the dumpster. I'll get somebody here to help you. Mm-hmm. Anything that you can't get out that you want to trash and leave behind, you leave it behind. I'll take care of it. Mm-hmm. And we won't charge anything for that. The other thing that she wanted was she wanted a 90-day close instead of a 30-day close or a 45-day close. I gave her the 90-day terms. Mm-hmm. So that's the reverse offer strategy.
Yep. Spoke to the human.
Yep. So Mark, hopefully that helps you. If you have any other questions, let me know. Dion Amy, can you explain more how to Get Your Money Right program helped you both? So I wrote the Get Your Money, I wrote my part of so Mike has his Get Your Money Right course. Yep. I contributed the spreadsheet. I found Mike because I'm a real estate investor. So yeah. I hadn't taken his course before I bought anything. Yeah. But Ashley can talk about kind of how we got our money right.
Yeah, it wasn't even around when we were learning this. So it wasn't even a thing. I think Michael Zuber was still doing a W-2 job.
He was. Mm-hmm.
I know that we had watched some Susie Orman. No,
Yep.
it
Yeah.
wasn't her. What was the other show that they had the cash jars? What was that show?
I don't remember.
Okay, so there was one financial show that we had been watching, and it was like these people that were like in crazy debt and whatever. And this one person would go in and she kind of put them on a cash budget where they had a certain amount of money in each jar for their budget.
Mhm.
And then the goal was to have more in the jar at the end of the month. And when I overdrew our account my account a couple of times and certain things, I was like, I think I need the jars, because I was using my debit card and I wasn't buying like crazy things, but because I had multiple transactions, I wasn't able to keep track of everything that was happening. So immediately when I went to the cash budget, I just had a small file folder, like a coupon folder, and I put my budget in different sections, and I could immediately see, oh, wow, that just took a huge chunk out or whatever. And I ended up being able to save a ton.
Yeah.
I I would say within a month, I started saving a ton of money. I was able to buy him a really nice desk, this one right here, for cash under the table, so he didn't know. And I mean, I really was able to kind of like turn my portion of the finances around. So, because I was able to see it, I was able to see every month. And now once you get into the habit, now I don't need it like that. Because I can just know.
Yep. Yeah. So, Michael's Get Your Money Right course, fantastic. I think it's absolutely great for us. Yeah, that was all stuff that we did probably 13, 14 years ago. And we were in debt up to our eyeballs.
Yeah. We also had times where we sat down together and we kind of like talked about our
had to.
Yeah, we talked
We're like,
about,
okay, which one do we pay now? It's this one's due on the 16th, this one's due on the 24th.
Yeah.
I get paid in between. So let's pay this one on the 16th and let's pay this one on the 24th.
And we talked about like, what can we cut out, or what can we, cut back on, or where can we be better? And can we, be better at couponing or whatever? And we work things out together. So that's one of the things we did.
Yeah. Chester Williams says he wants to put you on the spot and test you. In your words, what's the income snowball?
Oh gosh. So from what I've experienced from the income snowball is we started out with very little, and our first couple of properties made us a little bit of money, and we would kind of invest that money into the next project. That project, we were able to refi cash out and have a lot more actually for the next little bit. And now, oh my gosh, now we can refi cash out and we have a lot more. And now just our cash flow has just grown exponentially. I would say the first 5 years of our growth to now our last 5 years is it is exponential.
Yeah,
it is crazy exponential. And that has truly been like a snowball. It's just grown and grown and grown and grown. So that would be what I experienced.
Chester, that would be what she experienced. And then the other,
right. I don't know all these terms.
They're recycling capital. That's what we do. So when we were going from house to house, it was get in there, rehab it, live in it while we rehabbed it, get it with an owner occ, refi it, pull out whatever cash we could, and use that to buy the next one. So we did that year after year after year after year.
Yep.
And we had to move every single year. And it kind of sucked.
I got really good at moving.
We did. We actually went to totes. And that made life a whole lot easier instead of boxes. So we went to plastic totes. And so we literally could fit our entire life into about 50 totes. Yep. So that's how we did it.
Small U-Haul.
Hip Hop Silver, Kohler, thanks. You're welcome. John Doe, I'm a fit. Lifestyles and Del Walmsley are legit. Yep, I was a member 12 years ago, but it's all based on brrr. Yeah, worked great coming out of recession. Yeah, guys, brrr is not going to be very fun. That's what scares me the most is guys are doing like 6 brrs right now. That's what scares me. Just because that pendulum swings quickly. Yep, that pendulum swings quickly. Aria Trainer. Yikes on all the bounce checks. Yep, I have one bank with multiple accounts. When I pay a bill, I transfer money to a specific checking account to pay from, so never go negative. Yep, I buffer it as well, of course. Yep, for sure. Yep. I don't know how many properties you have, REI trainer. That's always the goal. The challenge was for us when we started splitting accounts off, there were just way too many. There were just way too many because we've got 35 buildings now. We don't keep separate checks for everything. It's impossible. Impossible. Dawn, any Lambo news? No Lambo news yet. No Lambo news yet. I'm trying to maximize the income on that property before I shop for Lambo because it will give me more money to spend on the Lambo. Hip Hop Silver. On my first book, my 90-year-old retired English teacher edited it for free. Free is good. Woo woo. I agree. That's awesome. Shamir Bless, rates went wild this week. Yeah, any purchases in the works? So Shamir, yes. So we have one that we close on tomorrow.
Mhm.
We have another one that we close on in 2 weeks. We have a portfolio of 9 that we're refining. I locked in at 4% 30-year fixed, and they're all investment properties. So I'm really super pumped about that. And then one that I just went under agreement on yesterday, thankfully, before rates went nuts. And so I think I'm 4 1/4 on that, or 4 1/8.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a killer deal.
Mm-hmm.
Killer deal. Larry Chong, will your coursework videos be forever to members, just like Mike's ORAT? Will I be able to review course at any time, and will you be adding ongoing annual content as you see fit, like Zubers? Larry, honestly, haven't decided that yet. And the reason why is because I love Mike's model, but my focus is certainly for folks like yourself, but also for college students. And so for them, a $350 course, it might as well be climbing Mount Everest. So my hope is to do something much less expensive, that might be subscription based. And like I said, I'm just going after a different part. Mike's course is obviously worth it because he has, all these, 16, 17 different experts in there, including me. But I really want to focus specifically on, not BRRR necessarily, but kind of owner occupied BRRR with 4321, with here's the loan programs, here's the financial stuff you're going to need to make sure you're done with, here's the products that you then use in your rehab. So really kind of take people step by step through all of those stuff, or all of that stuff. And then also the, hey, now I've closed, what's the next list of things I do? And kind of literally taking people through step by step, how to do that. That's the idea. So Larry, so I don't know the answer yet for sure. Yep. Don, I found needles in my walls, immediately tore it down to the studs. Absolutely. 100%. William Bautista. You're very welcome for answering your question. Sweet. Thanks. I'm glad. Yep. It's good. Matthew Paris. Okay. Time has come to say goodnight. Good night, Matthew Paris. Let's make it a great one. I agree. Cool. All right. Rob, tell Danny better run a refi soon. Rates are rising. Yeah, no kidding, right? Dude, did it close at 176 or 178 today? Oh my goodness, I'm giddy about my 4.0. I'm giddy about the 4.0. Matt Wilson. Hey, Matt Wilson. I don't recognize your name, so super excited you're here. Hey man, I've been brushing the beard stubble and got a little growth over the last week. Expecting some snow here in Philly, seeing as you are a little further up north, any shovel or salt recommendations? So yes, on the shovel, there is the ergonomic shovel, absolutely one of those, 100%. If you have brick or concrete, make sure that you're not using rock salt. Make sure that you're using a special salt that's formulated for those. And they do make it. I think it comes in like a reddish and blue bag from Home Depot. And so it is concrete safe. It's also brick safe. And so I would use that, because if you're renting, your landlord can make you pay for that. And I would just put bags of that right in a Home Depot bucket right by the door. And then just make sure you have like a little half shovel that you can literally just toss it out there. So, man, I'm giving out shovel recommendations now. It's crazy. But yeah, that special formulated stuff, it's about twice the price of salt, but it actually works better too. It works a lot better. It's got a chemical reaction in it that actually will eat away at things a lot faster and make it a lot more difficult for ice to form. So it's kind of like it kind of like helps over the course of the wintertime. So I like it. I like it. Chester says, nice work, Ashley.
Thank you, Chester.
Don and Bev Perkins, sorry, had a call. No problem. So late on this, but the doubling was arms. Yep. 2%. Yep. Yep. 3 to 4 more years to, no, I don't think it's going to be that crazy, Don. I don't think we ever touch 2006, 2008 levels again for those. I'd be still less concerned with those products, the ARM products. I'd still be less concerned with those products now because of the qualifications that you have to get to still get them. Lending tightened greatly since then. Back then in 06, 7, and 8, you had ninja loans, no income, no job, no assets, ninjas. And so you could do it stated income and say you made $400,000 a year and the bank would go, okay, sounds good. And it's like, I didn't get any of those loans. And so that's what happened. That's why they went to 54%. So I don't think we get anywhere near that number, but I think that banks have to start looking at that probably because they're going to still want growth. And as you guys know, banks get in that race to the bottom where they start putting kind of crappy product out there that people are just like, well, I want a house. Sorry, like, everyone doesn't get one and you have to kind of figure it out. I think the other area that I see them doing, and the reason why I think the ARMs are not going to be as nearly as in depth, is because I think they roll out a 40-year mortgage. And I think on top of rolling out a 40-year mortgage, I think that the Biden administration, otherwise known as what I call the giveaway administration, watching for my numbers to dip, what will end up happening, there they go, 4, boom. What will end up happening is a lot of down payment assistance. When the down payment assistance stuff happens, that's usually where people struggle to buy a house, is the down payment. So that's what I think more likely happens. Chester Williams, Matt, the Lambo house numbers are insane. Nice work. Hey, thanks, Chester. I appreciate that. Yeah, they're nuts. They're nuts. I literally, when I did that house, when I talked to the wholesaler about it, I was just like, this is probably the Lambo house. Yes. Yep. And the comment that I made about Biden, it's purely about how they're structured as a administration and what their personal edicts are. So it's facts. They have worked with banks and they are giving different rules to Fannie and Freddie on owner-occ properties. They've changed pricing already on 2s, 3s, and 4s. So again, this isn't a political channel. This is factually what they did. So yeah, for what it's worth. Dancing alone with rentals. Hello, Dancing Alone. It's been a while. Have you noticed that online banking is still set up to encourage overdraft fees? Yep. You can write a check, pay bills, yet the balance is not reduced. This is 2022. Can't they update their programs? So it's frightening how bad a lot of the software is in the banking world. Oh. It's frightening how bad it is. And you know what's only worse than that? Hospitals. Ashley's a nurse and I work on the business side of hospitals, and their software is even worse than banks. It's so bad. Yep. It's so bad. Yep.
Not all of it.
Not all of it, but yeah, but some of it. Yep. Mark Oshiro. Hi, Mark. I don't think you've been here before. Super excited to have you here. Have you ever thought about using a 10-year interest only than 30-year fixed rate mortgage? Would love to hear your thoughts on products like this, pros and cons. I've not thought about it. I would do I guess I don't know what the perk is to that. I mean, I guess just a lower payment. I mean, I guess equity increases, but you also have equity pay down. Yeah, I mean, Mark Oshiro, give me an example of why I would want something like that, I guess. Because I I don't want the lower payment. I want the higher payment. The reason I want the higher payment is because I want to not be making too much money on per property on what I have to pay in taxes. So yeah, that's just the way I view it. So I would rather start on a 30-year fixed, and then at any time I want to, anytime that I want to, at that point, I can refi it. So yeah. Andrew Wilkins. Hey, Matt, what's your opinion on the state of BRRRRs in 2022? I wouldn't do them. Yep. I wouldn't do them. Yep. I wouldn't do them. For me, so number one, if you're a new investor, they scare me because BRRRRs are hard. They're a skill set. It's about having the right team, the right people, knowing what you're doing, how you're doing it. Cost management, project management, working with city officials. It's a lot. Ashley's seen all that, and it's a lot. BRRRR is a tough strategy, especially as a newbie. I think that there's risk. I think there's just a lot of risk. If you were doing a BRRRR and you started right now, and it might be 90 or 120 days, you could get hit with 2 rate increases. You could get hit with the Fed tapering and a rate increase. What does that do to the market? Does it slow it down? Maybe. To me, my personal feeling is I don't think now is the right time to do BRRRRs. I think BRRRRs are great in a hard up. Yeah, in a hard, up to the right. And, I think those are good for them. Now, I think the market will lose momentum this year. I think rates will do that. I think inflation will do that. So yeah, for me, I wouldn't be doing BRRRRs. I've done plenty. I just wouldn't do them now. Wouldn't do them now. Unless it's going to be one that you probably live in yourself. In that case, probably. Yeah. Yep. Dancing with rentals. I did the 10-year interest only. Okay. 617 payment turned into 2100. Ooh, during repayment. Yep. PNC bought the loan and would not refinance it. Yep. I did okay, but Predator National Corp. Yeah, was no friend to landlords. True story. Dancing along with rentals. I had a deal with PNC. They sucked. There was some example where I had to drive all the way to a bank of theirs in Philly. Yeah, I can't remember what happened exactly. Something happened.
Wasn't there a check or something?
Yeah, there was some check or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. I had to literally drive there.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, it was like 8 hours. I drove from here to Philly, and it was literally and that was the closest bank, or that was the closest branch at that time for me to get to. It was a total nightmare. Larry Chong, what are important factors to hone in on to determine whether deals are possible seller finance candidates? Any tips for direct marketing to seller finance? Yeah, so longevity. You want somebody that's owned the property for 20 years. That's what I'd be looking at. That would be my search criteria. The best ones are 20 years or more. Don't live in the area. That's another big one as well. Those are the 2 biggest that you can find seller finance deals. Yep. Those are good. That's what I would look up. Yep. Dancing with rentals. Bless you. Hey, bless you too. Thank you. Trim Crawford. Let's go, Brandon. Oh dear God. No. Dro, is the rule for 15% down on an owner occupied duplex, or is that a lender thing? That's a lender thing. Yep. There's lenders out there some lenders, because the bank thing is all about market saturation. And so when you're looking at market saturation, what you have to be careful of is if a bank has too many deals in a given market, they will increase the cost of borrowing from them because they say, you know what, we're already really saturated here. We have, $100 million worth of properties in this market. That's kind of our cap. So we don't say we stop lending. We start to make the terms less good, less agreeable. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So I would actually talk to multiple people. And I would actually talk to a broker because a bank will be good and they have their criteria. What's awesome about a broker is they're typically representing, I would ask them, hey, how many banks do you do business with? Hey, if this is what I'm trying to do, how many banks do you work with that do that kind of a loan? Then you've got the conversation started. That's how I would do that. Yep. Andrew Wilkins, I got a friend who is a release manager for a major investment firm. The issue with the bank software tends to fall around compliance and regulations. True story. It's the same thing with hospitals.
Mhm.
Same thing with hospitals. Yep, exactly. Dawn, that is the problem I'm going to have with my rents so high and payments so low. My DSCR is 2.25. Yeah, that's nuts. Yep. I mean, good problem to have, right? Big income, but
totally.
yeah, but that's exactly the issue. Marcus Shero, I guess for my situation, if I was looking at increasing my cash flow in the beginning to help replenish capital quicker to redeploy for future investments. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense. The only thing, so here's what I would tell you. So you certainly can do that. The only thing that I would say to kind of be cautious of is even a garbage deal that I bought in 2006, when I sold it in 2018, because I had principal pay down, I walked with a check for like $80,000 and I wouldn't have been able to sell had I been doing just an interest only loan because it took that many years for that property to recover. So that's the only thing I see about it is I've lived through that type of a crash. And when you live through that type of a crash, yeah, a little bit scary. So for me, I'd rather have that number, that nut. I'll take the 30-year fixed rate debt. And the other thing too is with interest is that I have no idea what rates are going to be in 10 years. If you look at rates, right, in the 70s, they went from 8 to 16. That's an 800 basis point move. I'm not saying that they're going to go from 8 to 16 now, but think if they went from 3 to 7, more than double. That's very possible based on the inflation that we're heading and that we're trying to combat and deal with. That's what scares me. That's what scares me is that when that 10 years is over and I'm making that nut, and even if I put that money into some other properties, my concern is, what do I do about that one? Now, what if the rates doubled? It's a single family house. I had 6 or 8% in margin. Now I don't. Now I've got 2%. It's an alligator. Now I actually have to sell an asset that I would rather have kept. And that's just because of the loan program. So I believe that slow and steady wins the race. For me, I felt more comfortable going with the 30-year fixed rate debt and not having any of that exposure. Yep. So hopefully that answers your question, Mark. Dancing with Rentals. Interesting, Andrew. I see how Venmo has eliminated the need for a statement to get reconciled. Whereas BBT was so bad, they needed to change their name. Yeah, their software has been changed 3x. Yep. Banks and payment processors have different standards to my understanding. They do. Yep. Dancing with Rentals still lacking. Yep. They use third-party vendors, but still chose not to adjust the balance as you make payments. The people at the bank are great, but the bank policy is not so good. I wrote payments. I had paying bills on my mind. Sorry to make it confusing. Yeah, no worries. So Dancing Alone with Rentals, one of the things to think about too is there was actually a class action lawsuit, I think, against TD Bank, which is Toronto Dominion Bank. They would, if you deposited $1,000, even if it was cash, I believe, and then you wrote 7 checks, they would take the debits first and then they would put your money in. So if you missed it, they would bounce all of those checks. They would do an insufficient funds fee on every single one of them. And then they'd put that money in to then get you back to zero, but they would have gotten you for all the insufficient funds. TD Bank, Toronto Dominion did that. And they got caught and they got fined big
They were
time.
what?
They were who got us. Yep. They got us or got Ashley.
They're shady business.
Exactly. Andrew Wilkins, how do you pull your list for sellers? I don't pull lists. I haven't done it yet. Don't do it. I just help other people. So yeah, I don't do lists. Nope, not me. Not me. Yeah, I don't do lists. I have so much business, it's not even funny because of my relationships. So, I mean, I got brought this week 6 deals. I picked one. Last week, I heard of 3 deals. I picked 0. So I'll get a lot of deals that come across my desk, just my network, agents that I know, wholesalers that I know. That's been the biggest difference for me the last couple of years has been more relationships, more people, more transactions, pressed in the flesh, having conversations with folks. So not so much anymore. Yeah. So dancing alone with rentals, my interest only was a home equity line of credit. Yep. If I came into money, I could have paid down the HELOC. Yep. And still have access to the funds should a deal arrive. Yep. So the one thing that you need to be very careful of is HELOCs disappear. When the rate hike comes, HELOCs disappear. Yep. That's the first thing they shut down, and they shut it down super fast. Yep. Very fast. Like they literally say, nope, it's closed. And then it screws up all your debt to income ratios. It screws up everything. So yeah, I got crushed. I wrote $15,000 worth of checks that then I got one call from one guy saying, Matt, the check's no good. And I was like, of course it is. I just deposited the check from the HELOC. And then I actually called and they said, oh yeah, well, we have it in process. We sent you a letter. I haven't gotten the letter yet. Well, yeah, we sent you a letter. Your account's closed. That was a problem. Yeah. Yep. That was a problem. Very scary stuff. And a lot of people count on that as a piggy bank, not in a bad way. There's plenty that do it in a bad way, but there's some that do it in a good way where they're like, I have that there so I can go buy my next investment property. I can tell you when the market corrects, disappeared, gone, bye-bye, you're done. And then you've got nothing. And if you have a balance on it, it now directly impacts your DTI, your debt to income. Yep. Yeah, dancing alone with rentals. Whereas if I made a larger payment on a fixed, the money was gone, never to return. Yep. I used the home equity and didn't prepare for the exit strategy. Sure. Yep. No, they sell first. Question from Mrs. Lumberjack. Yep. What's your accounting bookkeeping process? Why don't you share the exciting news?
So we are just changing our accounting process. I was using a free software that pretty much I had to manually enter everything. We would have bill night basically where I would open all our mail, then we'd go through the bills, pay them out, and enter them into the system, go over the rents and who still owed. But we've gotten really too big for that. We've really kind of outgrown our free software, and now we need a true management software. So we just went through a process of interviewing or demoing a bunch of management software, and we just went with Doorloop. So we have started with Doorloop. I got my first onboarding session today, and we're in the process of setting up all our properties in Doorloop and getting our tenants on the tenant portal so they can make payments through the portal and kind of bunch of stuff. So our process will be changing.
Yes.
Still obviously bills in the mail, but a lot of our vendors can now, if they go on site to do something, can bill us, actually attach an invoice right to us from Doorloop. So things will change a little bit for us and how we manage things accounting wise day to day. So. Yep. So excited.
Yeah, we went through, we used a bunch, we trialed a bunch. So this wasn't like even like a 30-day decision. This was like 9 months. 9 months. We looked at a ton of stuff, a ton. Yeah, a ton. So it really came down to Doorloop, and Appfolio was the loser. They were the silver medalist. There were a bunch of them that we looked at that were not very good.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah, they're decent.
They were
they're
good,
all right.
but they just weren't
There were always gaps in the stuff. What we found that we liked most about Door Loop and Appfolio, they're expensive. They're like $300 a month. But they have everything that you need. It's all in there. It's very easy to use, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll let Mrs. Lumberjack go to bed. I'll stay here and finish answering questions. Let me just make sure there's nothing left for you. Nope. Rent Manager. Ethan Wood, is that what you use? Rent Manager?
I actually used one called Landlord Max. It was free. Landlord Max. It worked out. I mean, it was good for like accounting for, especially when we were smaller. It was a lot. It was fine. I also used, I have used Quicken Property Manager in the past. So those were good. They worked out really well for us when we were smaller, but now we're just bigger to where we need a better process to also incorporate management and tenant requests and things like that.
Yeah.
And to be able to keep track of all those things, because it's now just not something you can keep in your head. You have to have it down on paper.
Yeah.
Or software.
Yeah. Yep. I like Door Loop. I like their platform.
Great.
Yeah. Very easy, very intuitive. Yeah. I like it.
Super intuitive.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right. We get out of here.
All right.
You can get out of here.
Good night.
I'll finish questions.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
Love you, Tom.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. Marcus Share. Oh no, sorry. Dro, do you think rate hikes will cause a recession? No, I think the business cycle will cause a recession. I think that we will have a recession. I don't know when. I don't have a crystal ball. Dion took it. So I would say, I don't think it's going to be because of rate hikes. I think we're going to end up having a recession. Yep. Because they're going to have to clamp down on rates. That's part of it. But I think the business cycle, I think there's going to be a lot of change in the business cycle. And I think that's just, we're overdue. We're overdue. And a lot of the fundamentals are there for some sort of a slowdown. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Marcus Shiro, thank you very much. Great insight. To clarify a bit, the product is a 10-year interest only, but you are locked in at a 30-year fixed rate in the beginning. So it basically is like a 40-year mortgage. Who's selling that product? Mark, let me know who's selling that product. Oh, dear heavens. Yeah. Don and Bev Perkins, are your taxes always escrowed, or do you guys pay the taxes yourself? It bugs me that they hold more money than they should. We always escrow because usually it helps us get a better rate at the bank. Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Yeah, it's for me, it's would be with having 35 buildings now. Anything that I can make part of automatically doing business is good. Then I can review all the different, then I can review everything. And so when I review everything, what it allows me to do is then fine tune anything that needs to be fine tuned, but I know that at least got paid. So I don't have to worry about something not getting paid, largely speaking. Let's see. Dancing Low, yes, BB&T would do that. Yep, to this day I make separate deposits because they float the checks and give you only $100. Yep, they even still put a float on a cash deposit. Yep, silly BB&T. Yeah, be more funny. Yeah, exactly. Mark Ashira, but the first 10 years are interest only, but maybe I could be misunderstanding the product being presented to me. Yeah, see that in black and white, because usually anytime there's an interest only phase, like you can get that on like building and things like that, but usually that interest only phase, like, so when I do a deal that has like a construction project as part of it, I can get the first 12 months interest only. I usually can't get anything more than that, but that's also a commercial loan. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would want to see that stuff in black and white. REI Trainer, how often do you talk to agents and wholesalers? Are you on a lot of wholesalers lists or ping agents every once in a while? how do you stay on top of their mind? Do you have goals for networking? I don't have goals for networking. If you guys watch the Three Amigos video from today, you'll see that I actually don't set goals. It's just really about kind of core blocking and tackling that I do on a daily basis. So I just looked at the likes, people. Those likes are garbage. If I'm helping you, give me a like. Or if Ashley helped you, give Ashley a like. Forget about me. Just kidding, guys. So I talk to them all the time. I talk to brokers all the time, literally every day. Yep. Literally every day. Yeah, I talk to brokers every day. I talk to my banker at least twice a week. I talk to other bankers a couple times a week. I talk to wholesalers every couple weeks. I'm not on a big long list of guys that ping me. I'm specifically on guys lists where they're like, yeah, I find stuff in your region, but that's not really my thing. I have one set of wholesalers that's also investors. The last 2 deals I had to convince them to sell them to me. But it worked out for everybody. I got a great deal and they got a bunch of cash. So, they can buy more investment properties. So I thought it was smart on their side to sell me those deals, and they gave me a good price. So I am not on really any wholesalers lists. It's much more about just truly about relationship and having conversations with folks consistently. You'll see who the movers and shakers are, who the producers are. And the other thing too is that I'll put together a deal. And what's really cool about the deals that I put together are I close. My deals close, and I'm not a pain in the ass. It's like, oh, well, what nickel and diming and things like that. That is bad news. Guys, think about it this way. A wholesaler wants to just get that deal done. So they don't want to be doing a bunch of the garbage that typically has to be done in a lot of those deals, and a lot of regular like retail type of deals. Just keep that in mind. So for me, yeah, my wholesalers love me. My off-market agents love me. That off-market deal that I put under today, it's awesome. It's awesome. It was probably 150 light. It's a 6 unit. It's $25,000 a unit light. They way underscored it. To me, it was pretty simple math. They bought it 3 years ago. The market's up in that particular area for that type of an asset. That market's up 40%. They priced it like it was up 20%. Okay. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to do better. Like, I'll take it. Sounds good. So yeah, I don't have any goals for networking. It's just a matter of literally just reaching out to people, talking to people, having conversation with people. Yep. Mark Ashiro, love the chats and the feedback. Very cool. I'm glad, Mark. I'm glad. I love that feedback. Ethan Wood. Yep. Ethan Wood, rental manager. Yep. Yeah. We haven't used rental manager, thankfully. Beta. Single family homes are not as good as investments in Mass and New Hampshire compared to multifamily. Is that because Mass and New Hampshire is so expensive? Your thoughts, and thank you. Hey, Beta, sure. Happy to give you my thoughts. So here's what I would tell you. New Hampshire is different than Mass in so many ways. The biggest way is an investment property for real estate investment. New Hampshire doesn't have a state tax, and we don't have an income tax. Because we don't have those two things, our property taxes are very high, very high. Texas is very high. Florida is very high. It's because they don't have income tax. So the state has to get its money from somewhere. So they get it from property. That's how it works in our state. Massachusetts is high because they're high on everything. They have an income tax that's it's a progressive tax. I think it starts at like 5-something%. They have a sales tax that's on everything. They have a massively high gas tax. Massachusetts nickname is Taxachusetts, literally. Everything is more expensive as soon as you cross the border. That's why so many of them move here, quite frankly. Our population has exploded per capita. We have the highest population growth in the country, only behind Boise or Idaho. That's it. We're only behind Idaho per capita. We just blew up. which is not really that good. That's why a lot of people here that are complaining about not being able to buy a home, it has nothing to do with anything other than Massachusetts folks moving north. That's it, because they want no income tax, no sales tax. And if you go across the border, literally the price of your house probably drops $100,000 and you're 5 minutes further away. Like if you're any of the border towns, especially around the seacoast, big difference. Yep. So that's why on the, so Massachusetts, I don't know that market at all. So I have no idea how good deals are there. But New Hampshire, I haven't bought a single family house for rent for at least a half a decade, 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Yep. Yeah. Kind of crazy. Again, if you're new to the channel, super excited to have you guys here. I'm Matt the Lumberjack Landlord. Usually my wife, Ashley, Mrs. Lumberjack, she's usually here about 10 o'clock. She taps out because she's going upstairs to Sleepyville. So it's all good. Dancing alone with rentals. Loans are like buying cars, many colors to choose from with different accessories. Yep. If one banker doesn't offer a good product, visit with a loan broker for a better deal. Totally agree with that. I shop my loans. The only thing I don't do is I don't shop every deal because I know the kind of loans that my bank likes to do. And I know that because they know of the quality of the loan and the lender that I am and the product that I put out there, I know that that brings more value to them. Thus, they bring more value to me. So it's a great relationship from that perspective. Yeah. Yep. Don Ben Perkins, for the three amigos, what percentage of your rejects are over 10% yield? Like deals that I don't do, Don, I pass up deals all the time that are 10% because that's an average deal in my market. So I'm doing deals that are in the 20s and 30s. Yep. Crushing. Absolutely crushing. Gains no rentals. Thanks for nursing. I will let Ashley know that you said that. She loves being a nurse. It was a tough transition year this year for her, for sure. For sure. It was a tough transition year. Yeah. She loves nursing, but knew with there was the opportunity for her to basically become a real estate professional for our family. And so financially, it just made more sense. She'll definitely go back to nursing 1,000%. Probably just waiting until all the kids are in school, which we're about 5 years off of right now. So she will definitely get back into nursing. She's an amazing, amazing nurse. Amazing nurse. Yep. Invista Wealth. Thank you, Mrs. Lumberjack, and good night. I will let her know you said so. Justin Lord. Hey, Justin, I don't recognize your name here, so super excited to have you here. I previously used a local bank in the Midwest. Don't live there anymore. Okay. 6-year customer. Okay. They just raised my new purchase interest on my credit card from 12% to 24.5%. Yeah. Like really? Yeah. So that is clearly they are having some defaults issues. They are clearly writing off some bad debt. So they need to make it from somebody that carries a little bit of a balance. Totally get that. Keep going. I liked it. Thank you. You're welcome. Keep going. I think that's looks like a new, I think you're new. Pumped to have you here. Thanks for coming and hanging out and asking some real estate questions. Don, Velocity has a deal that is an IO option for the first 10 years with a 30-year loan total. Okay. Yeah, so long as your rate is fixed on that IO, no, I don't think that's an issue. I like that. I actually kind of like that loan. That's actually that's a slick loan. The only issue is you're going to pay a higher rate for that loan anyway, versus like a traditional 30-year fixed. I would guess. Dancing the rentals, escrows raised my fur. Yeah, but I pushed back with 15-year notes. So I admit I needed the bank to force me to escrow. Yeah, I just like the escrowing thing because anything that I can do to offload activity like that is just so worth it for me, especially with the number of buildings that we have. It's just, yeah. Justin Lord, longtime listener to you and Mike. Cool. I'm glad you're part of the chat. That's what I like. I like people getting in there, mixing it up. Good job, Justin. I love it. Love it. Marco Shiro. Like I said, maybe I'm misunderstanding the product, but I spoke with, yep, okay, cool. Yep, well done, Don. Steve told me about that loan product. It is, like I said in my post above. Yeah, cool. So, so I like that. So yeah, so long as that 10, so long as, so 30-year fixed rate debt, perfect. If then they're making the first 10 years interest only, okay. What's my rate? What's my cost of doing that loan? That's the only thing that I'd be looking at there. I actually like that product, based on what Don's saying, I actually like that product. That's probably a pretty good product. For me, it's just the cost. Yep. Yeah, it's just the cost. What is that? Don, you're right. He did get that loan at 399, but that was like 2 months ago. He's probably 499 now, if I had to guess. And you're probably paying a point at closing and probably paying a point of origination. So yeah, you're probably on a $300,000 loan. You're paying $3,000 and then $3,000 again, is my guess. So you're going to be you're going to have some decent fees there. But I do like it if it's, that first 10 years, again, it just depends on what the numbers are. I'd want to see them. If it's creating that much more cash flow for you, here's the thing. You don't pay down a ton of the principal in the first 10 years. So I'd love to know what the difference is. If it's not appreciable, I would be doing a cost benefit analysis. I'd be doing a CBA on that 1030 product versus a normal just 30 product. That's what I would be doing. Mark, that's what I would take a look at. Great questions. I love that you brought that to me. Really, that's awesome. REI trainer. So going to New Hampshire is like crossing into Canada. Just kidding. I lived in Massachusetts and love New Hampshire. Appreciate you and Ashley. Thanks for doing the broadcast. Always great content relevant too. REI trainer. Thank you very much. Did you live in Mass? Oh yeah, you lived in Mass. Where'd you live in Mass? REI trainer. I'd love to know because I lived in Mass too. And then I moved back to New Hampshire because I couldn't take 3-hour grocery store trips. They have a thing there where there just are not enough grocery stores in the places I've lived. And so it was 3 hours every time I went to go get groceries. And I didn't eat that much grocery. Like it was nuts. It was nuts. Yeah. Yep. Brett Sweeney. What deductibles do you have on your insurance? Oh, great question. Good job, Brett. Also, since you've been buying larger complexes, are you still buying duplexes? Yes. In fact, the deal that I did today, or the deal that I signed today, was for a 6. The deal that I'm closing on tomorrow is a 2. The deal I'm closing on in 2 more weeks is a 2. The deal that I closed on 2 weeks ago was 2 duplexes. The deal that I closed before that was a 3-plex. So a majority of my deals are 2s, 3s, and 4s. Every once in a while, if it's just the right property, close to one of my other ones, so I can get some pin action, as far as like being able to bounce guys back and forth to doing stuff there and doing stuff somewhere else. Yeah. So, so whatever I just listed there. So, 6 duplex, 2 duplexes, and a try. That's my last 6 purchases. So only a 6 in there. That's decent size. Yep. Deductibles. I use insurance for what insurance should be used for. So I use it for, big losses. So I carry $20,000 or $25,000 deductibles. The way that I did the math was my premium was going to be $80,000 a year if I had a normal $2,500 or $2,000 deductible. It's going to be about $80,000 a year was what my insurances were going to be. And with them being what they are, they were close. It was like in the 40s. So I just said, every year, if something goes wrong, every year I'm saving almost $40,000. I can just, instead of having $2,500 deductibles, I could just pay that and then still not have a claim. That's the big thing, right? Because they're going to jack your rate if you get a claim. So that was how it worked for me. I had to get approvals from my bank to do that, but I just showed them the model and I said, this is the cost model. This is why I think it makes sense. So that's what I did. So Excellent question, Brett. Don and Bev, thanks for all you do. Ashley too. Don, you guys are really welcome. Thanks for saying. I think Mike got that loan and his loan is 399. Yeah, 399. Yep. Last loan was 4125 and 375 points. Okay. Well, that's a lot of points, but I get it. Like paying down that rate. I mean, especially if you're buy and hold, it makes sense. Last month. Yep. Yeah, those rates I bet are much higher. Betta, how does Mike do so well in his single family home investments in California? California is also very expensive to live. Look at Fresno. Fresno's not very expensive to live in. It's a great market because it gives you great return on cash, and that's a yield, and that's why Mike invests there. California has some different rules, like when you buy the house, this is what makes single family largely work in some of those areas, is that when you buy the house, the taxes are largely fixed and they can only go up so much percentage. The things I don't like, and it doesn't apply to single family houses, is rent control. But it's just a matter of time. Excuse me. Probably just a matter of time before they make rent control in California for single families. Who knows? But yeah, that's how Mike makes Fresno work, because it doesn't work in San Fran, doesn't work in LA, doesn't work in San Diego, doesn't work in any of those markets. But it does work in Fresno because it's a less expensive market. A lot of the single family homes that Mike buys are in the twos, to give you an idea. Not 2 millions, 200s. So, but based on what I've seen from the deals he talks about. Hip Hop Silver, what if you were offered a 3.25% on a 1-year interest loan for a flip? Is that good? No, I would take the 4% 30-year fixed. Good question. But I would take the 30. I would take the 4% 30-year fixed, because I don't know if I can get rid of that flip. I don't know if I'm going to get stuck with that flip. I don't know if the price is going to go down on that flip. There's just uncertainty in the market. And so for the difference in price, I mean, if you're doing a flip, you're not going to pay the whole year anyway. It's going to be a few months. So it's what, a few $100 for a few months. I'd rather have the security blanket that caps me. That's me. Yeah, interest only loan. Yeah, I would just do I wouldn't. No, I would rather take the 30-year fixed rate debt at 4 points, which is what I could get. Yep. Dancing loan with rentals. Lumberjack, Geldof, take the likes out of your pocket. Don't go to the pub tonight. Please stay in and give us your likes. Thank you very much, Dancing Loan with Rentals. Appreciate that. REI trainer for Massachusetts location started in Leominster. Okay. Then Acton. Okay. Framingham. Yep. Cambridge. Yep. Somerville. Look at you, Mr. Hoity-toity REI trainer. You lived in all the affluent areas. Acton, Framingham, Cambridge, and Somerville. Someone's living well. Then south to North Carolina and now Virginia. Yep. Cool. Yeah, I used to work in Concord, Mass. For a long time, for 8 years. Concord, Lexington, kind of in that, we used to nickname it Silicon Alley. It wasn't Silicon Valley. That's out west in San Fran. We call it Silicon Alley because it was like, literally it was this strip of highway called 128. And it was off of every exit. It was nothing but software companies nonstop. And so that's where and then all of a sudden, all the big boys started putting their shops out there. So Oracle opened up a massive office there. And everybody else, Amazon and all these other places. Yeah. Yep. Julie Anderson, tell us about the office you're creating downstairs. It's going to be like this, but bigger. And it's going to have more space so Ashley can get her space over there too. And so, yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just, I've got a decent sized house because we bought a forever house or that was a plan anyway. And so, yeah, so it's a decent amount of square footage. So we're going to go do the basement. We're going to redo that. Main thing is that my office and this studio are on the same floor as my kids. And so we actually put, so being downstairs in the basement, it'll be cooler in the summertime. and I don't mind the cold in the wintertime. And it will be able to take me away from the kids more. I always have to watch that door because you guys will see me look back. It's because my kids will pop in, those blast in. Hi, Daddy, how's it going? Awesome. I'm on camera. So my kids are awesome. I love my kids. So good. So that's, yeah, there's not a whole lot more about the office. It's on the stairs. Well, there'll be some more. Right now, you don't really see anything. So you'll see the polar bear right there. That's like 100 years old. It's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, that's not a whole lot else there. Larry Chong, since you do trusts, would you recommend using a trust on a 4-3-2-1 deal and JV with a friend instead of an LLC? How insurance will work with using trusts? Larry, I am not the guy to ask on that. Watch Mark Kohler on joint ventures. Not me. I've never done a joint venture. I don't know anything about it. I don't play well with others that way. When I've done what I've built as a company was with Ashley. But as you guys can imagine, based on what you've seen, I was the driver. And so it was hard when she said no to a couple of projects. That sucked because I still see those projects today, and they made it. One of them is probably $1 million more than what it was before. It's all right. Still love her. She's amazing. So I would look at Mark Kohler stuff. I would not be able to do anything on the LLC side or joint venture side. I don't have an LLC that anything's in, everything's in my trust. And so I don't know how trusts work in working with joint ventures or partners. I don't know. I can tell you from an insurance perspective, it makes no difference. If it were in my name or if it's in a trust's name, makes no difference for us. Larry Chung, 2-2, where one or both us house hacks. I feel like that's, so give me more data. Dancing Low Rentals, Live Aid, July 13th, 1985. Oh, cool. Live Aid. That was that amazing Queen concert. So yes, it was everybody, but that's when Queen reunited and got back together. And that was, that was amazing. I was 7, 8 when that happened. 8. Yeah, I was 8. Yep. REI trainer. I did an IT project for a commercial broker. Okay. In Concord, Mass. And was blown away by the money there. Yeah, no kidding. I did not charge enough for the money. Yeah, no kidding. Yep. LOL. By the way, I wasn't that affluent in Mass. I rented. Yeah, but you rented in the really nice areas. So REI trainer, I don't know if you still watch the market at all, but if you know Somerville, so Davis Square, my buddy bought a building for it was a 3-family, bought it, and it needed to be completely gutted and basically rebuilt, bought it for $1.5 million, and the units sold for over $1 million a unit when he was done. That's in Davis Square. That's in like downtown Somerville. It's insane. The numbers there are nuts. They are nuts. That's the other thing too, is that you look at the rents that they get versus what they have to pay. Now it's worth going in and like, redoing a project like a 3-family and getting, $2,500 or $3,000 a month for rents. But holy cow, I have a couple of buddies that are landlords down there. It's nuts. Oh, you lived in Davis Square? Yeah. REI, dude, it was nuts. It was nuts. The numbers were insane. Absolutely insane. A bunch of teardowns. Yeah. Yep. The numbers there are nuts. And in fact, it was so bad in Davis Square, they literally just passed a law in Somerville that you can no longer do that. Yep. You can no longer do that. You can no longer do properties and flip properties like that in Somerville. True story. Yep. And Bob Gelda said, give us your money, more or less. Yeah. All these years that, yep. Give us your likes. Yeah. Thank you. Now I understand. Honestly, I'll totally out myself. I was thinking Gandalf, not Geldof. I was thinking Gandalf. It's like Gandalf. Yeah, really? I don't remember him saying that in the Lord of the Rings. I was like, where's Dion when you need him? Dion, where were you, bro? Oh, I was laughing so hard. That's awesome. Yeah, I was thinking Gandalf, not Geldof. Yeah. 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 Give us, yeah, he basically did say that too. Don't tell me you don't have enough money to pick up the phone and give. Bro, take a breath. Relax. Relax. All right. So if there's any more questions, I'll do some rapid fire stuff with you guys. So if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to do them. It's been a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with you guys tonight, as I always do. We'll still be doing a Sunday show next week. Next week, Eliana is in for a 5-day chemo treatment. So I'll still find a way to do stuff with Zuber and the Three Amigos, I think. But yeah, next week's a big week. Yep. For my little pumpkin, my little Eliana, my little 9-month-old. She turns 9 months old today. Happy birthday, baby girl. At Herbert. Hey, Matt, great episode as always. Me and the missus were busy pulling together docs for cash out refi. Cool. And catching up on property bills, paperwork. Yep. Had you on in the background the whole time. Awesome. That's what I love. Productive, Matt. And Matt, reach out to Tina tomorrow. Tell her I sent you. I talked to her about it today and I said, he's going to call you. And yeah. Yep. Talk to her about the cash out refi. Talk to her about any of that stuff. I think the only requirement for that program, is that you have your 10 loans. That's the only requirement, is that you have your maxed out in your 10 Fannie Freddies. Yep. That's how they kind of squeeze it a little bit. Yep. Fernando Gavin, appreciate that you host these live sessions. Fernando, thank you so much for saying I'm happy to do it. I'll continue to do it so long as people get some value out of it. And also hit the like button. REI trainer, praying for your family and the little pumpkin. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Appreciate that, guys. Betta, I grew up in Somerville. They used to call it Slummerville. Yeah. You know what they used to call Dover? Dirty Dover. Rochester, the town north of me, or 2 towns north of me, Rottenchester. Yep. Not pretty. Not pretty. Yeah. Yep. They used to call someone. Yep. My mom still owns her home by Tufts. Oh yeah. Yeah. Should have invested there. Yeah. No kidding. Look at what they charge the kids at Tufts. Like, those numbers are crazy. They're crazy. In fact, one of the guys, so my buddy who sold one of his condos, it was like $1.5 million, $1.7 million. And it was literally to parents that were sending their kids to Tufts. And I think he had 2 other roommates or 3 other roommates. And they just bought the place, and that's where he's living. So yeah, kind of crazy. Julie Anderson, who's really running this country? Oh, I have no idea. No one would like my answers. Dancing with rentals, you bring up an interesting point. How do you gauge your involvement on a project? Say you make 20% on a $50,000 project versus 10% on a larger project. So for me, I don't look at it that way. I just look at it differently. I want that asset that's going to really be a performer. And so even if upfront, it does take more time, it takes more money, like I'm doing a 4-unit that I've gutted to the studs, doing everything there. It's like a $200,000 budget. However, I've got a duplex that I'm doing that in, and it's a $90,000 budget that actually started demo this week. So, and I don't think that the 4-unit's probably going to be $1,600 a month rents, maybe $1,700 a month rents. So call it 6,000, 64, 68. So 64 to 6,800 a month. The duplex is 2,500 a side. It's 5,000 a month. And but it's half the price, right? So yeah, so I haven't gotten to the point of running numbers like that. Not saying I won't ever, but I just haven't yet. Hip Hop Silver, great night. Prayers for your family. Safe travels. Thank you very much. Matt Herbert, sadly, we have maxed out on the 10 loans. That's good. I'll be calling her tomorrow, and thanks for the connection. You're very welcome. Make sure you tell her I called because I did have to mention it 7 times. I was like, really? You won't do any deals in the Lakes region? But now I got her to say yes and say yes to you. That means that if I decide to buy a second home up there, boom, I know I can get them to do it. I love it. Dancing Living Rentals. In other words, would you turn down a small project? Yeah. Yep. It's all about the return. It's all about the return. So yeah, I would. I mean, it's kind of like now, right? Where I can get 12% on pretty much any deal I touch. But I won't touch a deal that's under 20 right now because I'm getting stuff in the 30s, like 30% return on capital. It's bigger capital outlay, but the returns are nuts. Yeah, they're nuts. Happy 9. Thank you. A little nugget, a little Eliana, Matt Herbert, Rochester, Crotch Fester. Oh yeah. Yep. Don, I did not hear from my IBC rep, but I did not hear. I didn't hear from my plumber who was connecting us. He got COVID. So he has been unavailable to me for literally since the last time you and I talked. I was waiting for him to get back to me. He's supposed to be sometime next week. I think he comes off. So I'll make sure to ask again. Because yeah, the IBC stuff is just rock star level. It's rock star level. Cool. Well, guys, thank you so very much for the time. Loved hanging out with y'all. Hope you have an awesome rest of your night and a great week. And we'll post videos tomorrow with Mike from 1 until the time. And we'll do our live stream on Sundays. So bring your questions, thoughts, or ideas. Chester Williams, thank you, Matt, as always, hitting the hay. I'm going to probably do the same. I got some paperwork that I got to do and then get that out. Yeah, it does suck that he got COVID. I was mortified. He's an older guy, nicest man ever. Pretty sure the first 5 or 6 years he worked with me, he hated me, but now we get along great. He's like a brother. So yeah, a lot of fun. Yes, Chester Williams. Yep. North Colorado Don. That is correct. Don. Thanks, Matt. You're welcome. Yeah. As soon as I hear from him, I'll actually send him an email because I think he's looking at emails every few days because I saw a bill from him today. Big surprise. He's getting caught up on his billing. I'm like, I hate when you're out sick. Go back on the road. Wolfmaster 82. Hey, Wolfmaster. Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks. Have a good night. You as well. Appreciate you guys. Guys, have an awesome rest of your day. I appreciate you. Have a great week, guys. Have a great weekend too. Talk soon.